不知道从哪天起，超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
Potential catch onto Gemia. Smurf actually gets the range. Gemini charges in. Top King dueling it out against Gemia and into the back line. And that's a triple kill for the Akali. Just assassinate I see the entire backline.
Wait,
Goodbye, Quadra. Is that the Penta? Come on, you have to give it to him. Blaze can't really make it that far away. Genian is charging in to get the stun down. There is the Penta kill for the...
Methodically tries to do it, but Maple, however, as I say that, will be using the Emperor to survive. But however, Hana is so tanky. The three-man Cyclone, Breath doing bits on this monkey, but it is not enough. And Reset City for Unified gets the double kill, gets the triple kill, looks for the Quadra. Could this be a pentakill? Unified! But yeah, I mean, the beautiful Super Mega Death Rocket into the Gale Force, execute damage, and a double execution there, completely delete Atman from some speed. What a steal! I mean, Machi, like, they decide to start this Baron. I mean, it was a pretty good call, given how Jace is nowhere near the Baron pit, and then the Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide. I mean, it was almost a steal from the Super Mega Death Rocket. PSG actually coming in on a fight.
Dragon up, Yone lands a little bit of a nice Q3. Cooler Force Code will be used. Corki is taken down. Maple, however, lands the double ultimate, only taking one with onslaught that's being used. And now Driver is left with the remaining 5 members of PS.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CDBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
We are family.
知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
We are family.
《
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pacific Championship Series. It's been a long while. We are finally continuing with the playoff action. I'm going to be your host and play-by-play today, Clement Chu, and I am joined by the lovely, ever so handsome, and I just realized all my colors have very high hairlines, verbatim coming into cast. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. It's lovely to be back in the color seat. I had a nice week. In your perspective, it's a play-by-play with Calvin. That was very fun. Back to where I'm more comfortable this week. And I'm keen to watch some League of Legends, and Bajaya vs J-Team should be fun.
Yeah, we are heading into the lower bracket today. So this is the losers group, and it means that whoever drops out is out and down for good. There is no coming back for this one. It's a do or die situation for both of these teams. But, you know, we are going to be taking a little bit of a look back at the previous games that we have seen earlier on. Just to make a note, we had J-Team versus PSG. It was a 3-0, a bit of a crushing defeat for J-Team, while Bajaya Dragons actually kind of shocked everyone moving forward. We are going to go with Player of the Week first. This, as we mentioned, was PSG's dominant victory over J-Team, Maple over Mission, and just look at those KDAs and those numbers. It's absolutely disgusting.
In particularly, Maple's games on Akali and Yone in the first two were just incredible to watch. We were wondering, is Maple still going to be so proficient on Assassins as he was in the past before the PCS? But a couple minutes into the game, we could see his Akali was there, his mechanics were there, and especially his highlight play around the Dragon fight rather. In game 2, where he landed the 4-man knock-up with Q3 of Yone. That was incredible to see. So Maple did such a good job last week.
Yeah, he definitely did, and he also held Mission to 0 kills in 2 games. So that mid-jungle difference coming up absolutely massive. We're going to be taking a look at the bracket overall. For today's games, it is going to be on the lower side. This is Bajaya versus J-Team, as you can see, L3. That's the match that we are going to head towards right now. It's going to be the first BO5 match coming out of the lower side bracket. And as we have seen, it's also Bajaya actually taking a pretty surprising win over Impunity with that massive performance coming out from Minji and the likes of the Senna and Tom Kench lane.
Yeah, I mean, when we were going into the Impunity Bajaya Dragons game, we were really expecting it to be Impunity favored, with Bajaya perhaps picking up one game. But to their credit, they came out 2-0, a result I don't think a lot of people were expecting, and that was on the back of great plays from Minji. He looked really good in the mid lane, and you pair that with Eren and K2, and their ability to play the center Tom Kench is a bit different to other bot lanes in the league, because Eren used to play top lane previously in 2018, so he has proficiency on the tanks, and he's one of the duos that actually plays the Tom side for a traditional AD carry, and allows K2 to be the fasting center, and I think they have an advantage when they play that lane.
Yeah, it's actually so crazy for Bajaya. A lot of teams were saying that this was a team that had a champion pool issue in the bot lane. They actually only won games when they were playing Xayah, but now that they have that Tom Kench and Senna mix, they can definitely throw at least a different right hook at people rather than sticking to their left jab.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, having that, finally some versatility. You don't have the Xayah being your one and only AD carry that you've won on. Because Eren has played 9 games of the Xayah thus far, like in the regular season, and it was really until he played the Tom Kench that he gave other teams a reason to not just ban out the Xayah, because he hasn't looked too great on the Tristana or the Kai'Sa, the 2 meta AD carries at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if he can play something like a Jinx, like even like a Jinx, like a Varus, something a little bit different as well, or if they're going to stay the fasting center bot lane.
So I do want to ask your opinion about this matchup coming into it, because J-Team, of course, as we know, coming in as the much higher seed, the 4th spot position, while Bajaya is around the 6th. And, you know, what are your general takeaways for this matchup? As first off, sorry for my scheduling, but we have to go a little bit through J-Team. Most important to note is that Rest will be starting today over Driver. So interesting to point that out. They have said themselves that Rest is the more aggressive laner, the more fighter-oriented carry that they want, and a Driver a bit more of the tank and weak side player on J-Team.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely has shown in the games we've seen with Rest, especially in Game 3 being subbed in against PSG. That was definitely the closest game it felt like in terms of like top lane 1v1. The Wukong Forest was really good. Landed multi-man cyclones throughout the whole game. And that last team fight where Unified actually happened to get the pentakill, Rest did his best. He got a 4-man cyclone knocked off. So definitely Rest should be exciting to watch.
On the other hand, we have Berjaya Dragons, the Malaysian representatives coming in. It's going to be Ozzy in the top, Enzo and Minji mid-jungle, and Aaron and K2 in the bot side.
Yeah, going through Berjaya Dragons, they're a team that's a little bit different to the other teams in the PCS, where most of them focus around that bot mid lane. Traditionally in the regular season, however, it's all been about Ozzy and putting him on those carry top laners like the Aatrox. He's had a pivotal role in quite a few of Berjaya's wins during the regular season. Looking back to a game on Aatrox against Magi X, where he completely solo carried the game with a massive dragon fight into Baron fight, which completely shifted the dynamics into their favor. So look to see Ozzy as, I guess, the spark of life for Berjaya Dragons.
Yeah, and we have to talk about how Ozzy is going to do up against Rest. This is, one of those matchups that I find super interesting, and we do have to point out, even though Berjaya Dragons are the lower seed in the regular season, in their most recent matchup, they actually triumphed over J-Team. So if you think about the early game skirmishes and the laning phase between these top sides, Berjaya Dragons have actually had a proven record of defeating J-Team. However, we do have to take a shortcut into the team stats comparisons first in terms of the win percentage. If they get a lead at 15, J-Team has usually came out ahead. Herald control rate is higher, and that GD at 15, a massive lead overall. So it just looks like all the stats are in favor of our higher seed team.
Yeah, but if you look at that gold difference at 15 stat, the 83% for J-Team, you might be wondering what game, in fact, was the one where they did lose that, and that happened to be against Berjaya themselves.
Hey,
it was a game where Berjaya Dragon did their signature Baron comeback, where they caught the throw of J-Team, and they just secured the game out from there, got the gold lead back into the game, leveled it out, and then were able to play through Aaron, through RZ to secure the game. So there is pressure for J-Team, even though they do get a lead. Always in the back of your mind, there is the Berjaya Dragons Baron comeback.
Definitely is the case. Berjaya Dragons, a team that is full of surprises. They can lose to Liab, or they could take down one of the top 4. It really just depends on the day. We're going to head straight to draft. J-Team on the blue side, Berjaya on the red, and we see the target towards the bottom side right away. So Aaron has only one on Tom Kench and Zaya. J-Team are saying, we're going to take both away and see what your bot lane can play.
Yeah, looking at that directly, that is such a dense target ban. That is so... It's so smart from J-Team. Take away the only bot laners Berjaya has one on. Get rid of them instantly. Don't even let Aaron play anything else. And that, make him play something else, rather. And we look to see Berjaya. They do have the Samira banned out with the Rel and the Thresh. Samira has been nerfed on previous patches, so she isn't quite that dominant AD carry, but Lilvi did look good earlier in the season on the pick, and it will be the Renekton hover, before it will be Hecarim locked in for Hana.
A really standard pick coming in here. Enzo himself, a bit of an Udyr main. That's sort of his go-to. We'll see what he goes for in the early game. But I do expect Berjaya. I think their strongest points in terms of their gameplay, especially up against J-Team, is their sort of top lane 3v3 skirmish. So I do want to see Berjaya actually go with something that has a bit more impact in the early game. I think that is, for Enzo, is probably some of their win condition, but we are going to see a Tristana being locked in first. Still multiple lanes that this could go into. Minji could pick it up, of course, and also the Volley Bear. So I like this over the Lilia a bit more for that early skirmish. Meanwhile, J-Team really fast ban picks, going with the Kaisa and the Alistar straight off the bat.
Seeing the Tristana as the AD carry that Berjaya has locked in, they will go towards the Kaisa Alistar. Alistar does really well into both Rakan and Rel, so you're protecting yourself against typically who you partner Tristana alongside. So really well done from J-Team, and it will be the Rakan picked up for Berjaya to round out the first pick phase. And with this Volley Bear pick, after the buffs, recently in 11.6, Jungle Volibear has been everywhere, especially in the PCS. The earlier stage of the playoffs, we saw lots of Volibear, so it's not too surprising to see Enzo on the pick. It will be Victor banned out for Mission from Bajaya Dragons, and the response will be Zoe being banned out for Minji, so mid pool is being pinched.
We just saw Man of the Week in the previous was Maple, and he played a lot of Akali plus Yone. You know who also plays those two champions? Minji. So I think J-Team are going to try to ban away Minji. He's been known as a Zoe main. He plays a lot of those different champions that have great snowball potential. And I think J-Team are actually going to be a little bit worried right here. If you get Minji going early, that's kind of a win condition in and of itself for Bajaya. So J-Team looking at most likely another mid lane ban right here. They don't want to let anything go awry there. They could just go for something safe top. Instead, they're actually going to take away the J. So this is one of those Aussie champions that he's done very well on. Probably signaling something like a potential Gnar coming out. Now, Bajaya Dragons are going to hold on to that last pick for their most likely top laner, and they're going to go into the quickness plus the shockwave combo.
Yeah, it will be Orianna picked up for Minji. He's had 8 games through the regular season on the champion, so it makes a lot of sense drafting Comfort for him. As you mentioned, something a little bit more exciting could have been crazy to see. A couple of weird little counter picks being hovered from the side of J-Team. Viego is banned, so no Viego will be seen, but it will be the Akali locked in for Mission, and that's an exciting pick. We saw it pop off last week, so I'm excited to see this one.
I love to see Akali finally coming back. She has so much burst damage, really fun to watch inside these team fights. And it looks like J-Team are thinking about maybe a very aggressive strategy. Oh, come on, please. I thought they were going to hover the Kalista. They're going to lock it in, but not the case here. It is going to be Mission's Akali. This is kind of his specialty pick that he only uses in playoffs. And the last time he took it down, it was a 21 KDA performance against Nesty. So it's always great to see Mission on something aggressive, and also for Rest just going for a pretty standard pick here in the Gnar. And interesting enough, Aussie actually going into the countered matchup from himself, taking away the Renekton and looking to set up a double stun combo in the top lane.
Yeah, taking Renekton into the Gnar is kind of even like a comfort answer into the Gnar, because you've played out the matchup so often so far in the regular season. You're used to this one. You're just going to be waiting for the Volibear to come through, run very quickly, stun them up with the Q, lay that up with yourself as well. So trying to draft some comfort in the top lane. But I'm excited to see how the Akali goes into the Orianna. Akali, how she's been changed is they've nerfed her early wave clear with her Q damage to the minions. So I'm pretty sure it takes 2 Qs, like level 1, to get rid of the wave. So it will be a little bit slower wave clear. So the Orianna should have the urgency in the early to mid game. But as soon as Akali hits 6, Minji's got to watch his back, because that's when the ultimate comes out and he has to be really scared.
Yeah, we saw the damage upped on perfect execution, and also just like the shuriken flip. So a lot of damage could come out from that Akali. And I do want to ask your opinion about the compositions, because so far J-Team and both Bajaya Dragons, both of them coming out with pretty heavy poke comps. We see Quick Tick Shockwave on one side, and then the Terrified Instincts on the other. So a lot of wombo combo opportunities to just snipe people off.
Looking at both teams have really drafted similar like thematic teams, but they have different ways they want to execute it. You have obviously the ball delivery with the Volibear, with the Renekton, or the quickness on the Rakan. So Bajaya Dragons are really trying to find a shockwave, find an engage, and lay that with the rest of the crowd control from the team. But against J-Team, it's more, you have the Onslaught of Shadows from Hana. You have Mission diving the backline alongside the Hecarim. And it's more of a front to back team fight. No, sorry, back to front rather. With Lil V being able to use his killer instinct to get around the team fight. So it'll be more of a diving kind of thing. It won't be how Bajaya Dragons want to play this one out. Yes, they do have the rocket jump from the Tristana. So as soon as they'll get a pick, it'll be Eren trying to leap forward and secure the rest of the side of J-Team. So it'll be interesting to see how this will play out, because it's more of a dynamic team fight rather than the traditional front to back.
Yeah, I definitely see that turning out. And for Berjaya, I feel like they have so many targets that are easier to just take out. Like Minji is going to have a huge target on his back with the triple dive coming in from J-Team. And what this means to me is that Berjaya Dragons have to be the ones that are constantly on the offensive. If they ever let J-Team take the front foot and just engage onto them, I don't see them surviving this whatsoever. So for me, the composition, I definitely have to lean towards J-Team in this one.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely crucial for Berjaya to have Enzo trying to make plays early on, trying to, when he hits 6, dive the Gnar into the tower. If he's able to with Azi, it can be a bit risky, but if you bring Minji up, you have the shockwave as well. You should be able to 100-0 Gnar before he potentially turns it around and before the turret comes back up. So I agree with you saying J-Team definitely has the more exciting, and I think the better team comp to play, but I think it's ease of execution for Berjaya, so they should be able to fall back on that, and it's really up to J-Team to see if Mission can pop off on the Sakali, and if Lilvi is able to follow up on the damage that Mission will provide for him.
Yeah, that bottom lane also should be in favor of J-Team coming in. They're 2v2, incredibly powerful, as we've seen, while Berjaya Dragons, they really like playing towards their top side in the early game. That's going to be probably my biggest deciding matchup for J-Team, and why personally I have predicted J-Team to go 3-1 in this series. We'll see if that bot lane 2v2 pans out the way we expect it to. Just getting a little bit of, I think, technical difficulties before we actually launch into the match. I'm not sure. I'm just checking with production what's going on, but so far it seems like we have a bit more time to go over the player stories and to talk about sort of the teams going in onto this one. I sort of want to ask you about your take about this series and who you see coming out at the end of the day.
Similarly to you, I do think it will be J-Team coming out on top, but that's more rather individual plays rather than the teams and how they play together. But it will be us going into the Rift. We have returned.
And just like that, we are heading into the lower bracket to decide who's going to match up against the loser of PSG and Beyond Gaming. This is lower bracket number 3. We are going into the PCS playoffs back after 5 days of breaking, and welcome towards the Rift. We're going to go over the runes just right quickly. It's going to be fleet footwork for Mission coming in, just trying to survive that lane, while we do have a PTA coming in for the Volley Bear.
Yeah, typically when you do see the Volley Bears in the past, they have run the press the attack. It's very easy to proc that one for yourself. 3 autos down, and you have the rest of your team getting exposure damage on that target, and you build enough tankiness for yourself anyway. Like, you can go after shock or phase rush, but I think press the attack allows the burst to come through after you stun up the target, so I think that one's quite intelligent for Enzo. Nothing else really is too crazy. Mission is going the fleet footwork over the Conqueror, trying to survive through the lane phase, through Minji, through the Orianna, which can be super oppressive for an Akali early game.
Yeah, and definitely to note that in terms of the Volley Bear mechanics, both the Thundering Smash and the Frenzied Maul do give you procs of on hit, so you can actually get that PTA very early on in a gank or in a skirmish. We are going to see Hana starting out the blue side with some assistance coming out from Ozzy. Ozzy just doing a cheeky level 1 Renekton bush camp out there. And Enzo starting on his blue as well. So this is going to be reverse starts. Enzo, as we do expect, going up towards the Renekton, while Hecarim on Hana on Hecarim, excuse me, going towards the bot lane.
Yeah, it's just both teams playing around who they would normally do so, but Ozzy trying to trade onto rest. He will be just auto-attacked as he walks away, the Fury not really stacking up, but it is Berjaya Dragons wanting to play around Ozzy on this Renekton. They have picked the Renekton into the Gnar. They understand that the matchup is Gnar favored, so they do need to play around it and make sure Ozzy is comfortable and able to dominate the lane. Conversely, you see J-Team, you have Hana pathing to the bot side, really trying to crack open the Tristana Rakan around level 3, hopefully. He'll try to make a play before, I guess, the bot lane can start to get a bit of a lead and get carried away, because Tristana Rakan will have the push, will have the pressure early on, but as soon as Kai'Sa gets one base off, she will have the pressure.
Yeah, they can win out on the 2v2. Usually it takes a couple levels. Alistar getting pushed in level 1 is, something that we're absolutely used to at this point. And just looking at the mid lane laning phase so far, it's been really difficult for Mission. Hana finally coming in, double stun already achieved by Woody, and in comes Hana, but a great grand entrance from K2 actually stops the engage. Very well done there, and they come out with a 1-for-1 summoner trade. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we have Rest in trouble. Ozzy already pushing in. He does have full rage. The stun comes in, double stun immediately. No flash even used by Rest, and a clean tower dive for Bajaya to start things off.
100% great stuff from Enzo to play towards the side of the map that you need to get ahead, enabling the Renekton to be comfortable in this lane. Beautiful stuff, only the flash being used from the Renekton to secure the stun. As you see, Rest doesn't have Mega Gnar stacked up. The volley best stun into the Renekton stun after the flash. There's nowhere for him to go, but hang on.
Oh, this is going to be a 4v2 dive in the bottom side, but traded back 1-for-1. They do get the AD carry onto that one. Excuse me, actually it wasn't a 4v2, it was a 3v2 dive. We're just coming back after the replay. 1-for-1 trade, but they do get the teleport from the top side at the very least.
Yeah, this will allow Rest to, he teleported to the top side, so he's able to push this one out, get some priority. But as we see, Woody and Lv with Hana trying to set up the dive, it will be headbutt into the Pulverize after it hits the wall, so that will be Aaron dropping. But RZ is here to clean up and make sure the cow does drop. And that will be a kill going over to Renekton, so it won't be too bad for him. It kind of evens, like it ensures that he doesn't go negative on the TP. Him picking up that kill, so that's really good for him. But this Kai'Sa now has a serrated Dirk after that recall, and she'll be doing so much damage with the isolated Qs. So this Tristana, who did decide to go for a cull after her reset, definitely combat stats in the favor of J-Team.
Yeah, and just taking a look at the map right now, we saw Minji coming in with actually a very laid back. Didn't really go for a cheater recall, it's just a level 5 TP back. And Mission will likely have to respond with the teleport of his own to kind of break the freeze here. And we do have a sneaky gank by Enzo into the bottom lane. Aaron falling really, really low. Lilvi going in for the full plasma stacks. He does have the explosive charge onto him. And that backline ward spots out the bear on all fours coming into the lane. J-Team do not fall prey to the bait.
That's really good job from J-Team, recognizing that a lane gank is something that Felipe can be threatening, so they have the ward down there, trying to make sure that they are safe, making sure they're able to know when it's time to engage. They just trade up onto J-Team, but however, Hana is here trying to make the most of what he can do. He will be clearing the ward, but he would be engaging in.
Aaron does use the rocket jump, and we don't find the combo onto K2. Woody holding onto his Pulveride, not even trying to use it there. Meanwhile, going back to the top lane, Ozzy having a pretty decent time against Rest because of that kill and assist. And we see Rest actually understanding that he can no longer escape from the clutches of the Renekton, going for the extra armor straight off the bat. Minji going to use the shockwave into the stun onto Mission. Beautiful combination. Instantly picks Mission off. None of the mobility skills used there by the Akali, and she just falls down like that.
Yeah, there's really nowhere for Mission to go there when he gets shockwaved up. Perfect execution now has to be targeted when you cast it, so Akali can't just dash away with her ultimate, and when the shockwave hits, Enzo is there and makes the play happen, and this could be a dive in onto Gnar here.
Another dive. Enzo's going to show himself. Rest doesn't have Mega Gnar, so isn't going to have a lot of crowd control in this dive. However, he's going to be able to thin out the wave, and we see the rest of J-Team already rotating towards their blue buff, just making sure that is staying steady. And this has been a pretty explosive start to the game. Bajaya Dragons once more winning out on the topside skirmishes like they did in the regular season.
Yeah, like you know where you need to be winning out. You know that this bot lane you've drafted for yourself is able to, I guess, counter-engage quite a bit. You have the Rakan, you have the Buster Shot to knock them away, as the Grand Entrance does land with the Lilvi, but I don't think much more will come from it. It'll just be K2 trying to clear some wards as well. But you have disengaged that you've drafted once you hit 6, and you recognize that you want to be playing around this Renekton, you want to be playing around this Orianna. Oh, beautiful from Mission.
Yeah, goes in with the full combo, takes Minji down to about half HP. And talking about that bottom lane, we have mentioned this during the ban and picks, but Lil V is just so far ahead of his opponents. He was at one point double the CS compared to Aaron. So, Berjaya Dragons, even though they have that topside winning, they still have to think about how to shut down Lil V as it comes into the mid game.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I favored J-Team going into this game. In particularly, you have Lil V, you have Rest, you have Hana. Well, especially when you look at Lil V and Hana, that's who I really think is the gap in players in terms of J-Team. I think Lil V's had a great split. He's had some unlucky games where he's just fallen behind early, but whenever he gets a lead, he's looked incredible, especially on the Kai'Sa. He's had no problem pulling the trigger with the killer instincts, getting into the back line. So I think that's really where J-Team should look to play around and are looking to play around and where their lead lies. We look at the player gold, it is the Volibear and the Renekton holding majority of the lion's share of gold on the Rift. So those are some two scary tanky boys that will be running you down around these mid-game skirmishes. So J-Team has to be careful and able to cut through those high health targets.
Yeah, very peculiar that we're seeing this Herald being spot out, just being started here without a lot of priority from the lanes here. So it's going to be a 3v3 into the top side. Everyone is trying to head on over. J-Team's bottom lane is going to arrive first, so making sure they have that extra distance. And we see Hana taking away the Herald, but Berjaya are looking for the fight. Ozzy is in position to go in. He gets the stun onto Rest, and Rest gets the Mega Gnar. 3-man stun out, and we have a great Terrified into the back line. Mission diving deep, getting Aaron straight off of the back. Berjaya Dragons, they don't manage to burst down the Gnar before Rest is able to pull off the crowd control.
Beautiful stuff from Mission, just being a nuisance in that one. He's just lying in wait, trying to make the most of it. And the Renekton in the backline, he comes in a little bit too late. He doesn't have the team with him. He's a little bit too deep. And you see, J-Team, they walk away with the Herald and the team fight win. Hana will be trying to engage onto Ozzy, and Rest gets Mega Gnar at the perfect time, able to heal back up, lands the nice ultimate as well, and then there's just Mission just taking down Aaron on the back end of the fight, forces the remaining members of Berjaya Dragons to run away, and it will be the Herald picked up. The Herald picked up for J-Team, and as well as the team fight win, rather, sorry.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that Aaron didn't try to flash over the wall onto that one. Both his support and mid lane are actually flashed over the Baron wall, but he just kind of stayed. It's like, okay, I guess I'm dead. Interesting, because you don't really want to get a colleague snowballing that early. Definitely felt like he could have survived that one and minimized the losses there. But a great fight by J-Team nonetheless. They're going to pick up the Herald. We're going to see where this one is actually dropped on. They could go for mid, could go for bottom lane just to increase their snowball there. Where do you actually want to see this one being used?
Typically with Rift Heralds, I like to see them used in the high priority lanes early, something like the mid lane, trying to get even more gold on this Akali that was struggling a little bit early until she was able to grab that first kill for herself. So if you're able to make a play on this Orianna, potentially if your name is Hana, you can try and break the game open there. J-Team look to be positioning around the bot side, trying to potentially, I guess, delay Tristana, who's so good at turret plates, from taking some herself. If you break the bot lane tower... Oh, hang on.
Good trade coming in from Ozzy. He's not going to go all in onto that. Rest is very close to Mega Gnar, so doesn't really want to chase up on that, but gives him a couple love taps just for good measure. Some good footwork here by Ozzy as well. We do see the Renekton going for the Stride Breaker, making sure that he can pick targets off and slow them down if need be come team fights. Meanwhile, J-Team really desperate to get this bot lane dive going, but Berjaya Dragons doing a good job. They swept over 2 wards around their own blue buff right now, even though there's a third for J-Team. It just means that J-Team can't execute the dive necessarily. In the meantime, J-Team, it looks like they're going to send a bit of a roam towards Ozzy, but that one's actually going to be spotted out real quick by the wards in the river by Berjaya Dragons themselves, and we just go back to kind of a pure farming phase for now.
Or as you say that, Ozzy does engage onto Rest. Rest could be dead here. Oh, no, he won't.
getting very close to Meganar, and Hana is coming in. They do get the stun onto Ozzy. Dominance used, but he's fighting a 1v3. Flashes out. Can he actually survive this one? Woody goes in to tank, and that's a beautiful dive by J-Team. He would have been fine if there was only 2 members, but there were 3 coming in from J-Team, and they're going to drop the Herald right onto Enzo, getting sure the rest gets this counter pick going. Oh, flash in by Enzo as he tries to chase with the Thundering Smash. Doesn't get it. Quickness goes in, but they don't have the damage. Exhaust goes down. It's kind of a weird play from Berjaya as the rest of the cavalry comes in for J-Team. They are going to snipe down 1 kill from Mission and another for Woody. Certainly over chase there. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Little V finds himself in trouble. Slow does not connect, and he's able to use the flash to run away. The stun comes in, but they don't have the damage. They have to walk away. Massive wins for J-Team in both the top and the bottom side.
It was just Bajai Dragons really trying to make something happen when it really didn't need to. You look to see like the over chase from Enzo and K2 here. You have no idea where the rest of the members of J-Team are. Yes, you do knock up NCC rest, but the rest of the cavalry is here. The Onslaught of Shadows does make sure K2 is forced away from the volley bear, so he's unable to peel. Then you turn your attention to the Rakan after. So it's really well done from J-Team to collapse once again, and that set up the play where Arzi was trying to bush camp rest. He does look like he's going to take him down, but then Hana is there with the counter gank ready to go as well. So really good job from Hana being the right spot at the right time, and shadowing his lane is when they need it the most.
Yeah, Arrest really shows no respect for law enforcement. Doesn't stop around for Enzo to catch up onto him. Doesn't care about his police badge and his riot gear. He just runs on out of there. So that's a huge, huge tempo lead. Huge gold swing over to J-Team as we're seeing on our graph right now. It's about a 3,000 gold swing out of those 2 plays combined. And honestly, these are just unforced plays that J-Team are happily picking up.
Yeah, it seems as though J-Team are not being super proactive themselves, but seeing Bajaya Dragons trying to make something happen. Hang on.
Ooh, Hana going in onto the play versus Enzo. Hana actually takes a blast cone that he probably doesn't want to go in onto, but Mission is looking for the backline. The Terrified doesn't actually land, so Mission isn't going to be able to go onto Minji. We see the Shockwave come in 1-for-1 trade, but Mission is on the backline. That's going to be a 2-piece for him, and he's chasing down onto more. This 3v3 skirmish in the top lane, the equation has totally changed because every time they try to find a play, Woody is there.
That was absolutely dirty from Mission to take the R2 over the wall after you get the perfect execution. When we go back to this, it looks like Enzo could be caught here, and then you think, hang on, when the Shuriken flip misses and the blast cone's over, you think Hana is in trouble, but the rest of the squad is here, and immediately Woody is running up on this Alistar. We do see the Onslaught of Shadows used, and you think, Bajaya Dragons, they have the members here. Shockwave does land, but Mission able to just assassinate them with the Q, use perfect execution to get over the wall and clean up the rest of the fight. And now this is a 4-1 Akali with Night Harvester, and is building towards potentially a Measure Eyes with 9 stacks on this Dark Seal.
So far in the PCS playoffs, Akali has been perfect. There has been no losses on this champion so far, and I don't think this game is going to break that trend. This is a massively fed Akali like you're talking about. She can go into the side lanes, she can run the map right now. And Berjaya Dragons, with this sort of quickness Shockwave combo, I don't think they're going to get many chances to pull it off. Their bot lane is massively behind, their top lane is bleeding out, they've lost the tower already, and their mid lane can't stand up against Akali whatsoever. So, this looks like it might be a really short game that J-Team can close out.
It's been really unfortunate for Bajaya Dragons in terms of the one lane that you have gotten ahead early is the Renekton into the Gnar. And that is just a matchup that is traditionally Gnar favored, and you pick that matchup for yourselves. You could have gone for something like a Camille for Ozzy. You could have gone something even like an Aatrox potentially, something that does better into the Gnar, allows you to take over the game once you get snowballed with the Volley Bear's assistance. But however, they went for the Renekton, but this could be a fight here.
You have a bit of a skirmish coming in. Berjaya Dragon's actually trying to push the envelope, but Woody just walks back on that one, gets out pretty safe and free, and J-Team now starting the Drake. Bajaya Dragons are not going to contest, in fact. Ozzy just heading back towards the top lane, giving over the first Drake. This has been a very, very slow Drake game. Your first Drake going down at 17 minutes. Basically, everyone's been scrapping in the top side. No one's been paying much attention to this bottom lane.
Yeah, I was kind of confused looking at no Drake symbols on the graphics. I was thinking, is this really first dragon? This is super late, but it is, and it will be Ocean Dragon for J-Team. It's interesting to think that J-Team, even though they spent so much time around the bot side, around Lil V and Woody, they did not grab the dragon for themselves. They did not think that it was the correct time to do so, and they are grabbing the first one for themselves.
K2 being engaged upon, and Mission goes right in to snipe him off. Even has R2 still left to get the kill. Doesn't even need the full profit perfect execution. Ozzy now being the second target chased down. He smashed into the wall, stunned up, and killed. There's a double knockup coming in from Woody, and it just seems like more and more plays are being made. Lil V flashes forward aggressively past the shockwave, and J-Team preserve their momentum. All 5 members still alive. They had 2 picks in that play overall, and they get 2 towers in the meantime, blowing this game wide open.
Once again, it's Woody making and finding these plays. You look at him, headbutt pulverize onto K2, compare that with the shuriken flip, and that's a blown up Rakan. J-Team will now focus, taking this turret down. You see Ozzy being forced to run away. The Hecarim ultimate does tag on him as well, and it will just be Woody once again finding the double headbutt pulverize and forces away Bajaya Dragons. Woody on this Alistar has 100% kill participation. He's been involved in all 9 kills for J-Team, and it shows. Like, Woody has looked so good on this pick. He's always with Hana. He's always with Mission, trying to make the plays happen regardless of where they are on the map.
And I love his first item buy as well. He's going straight for the Dead Man's Plate. At this point, no one is killing that Alistar. Not even, he doesn't even need to use the Unbreakable Will to stay alive. Ozzy, in the meantime, getting tagged up, Mission going in, and Mission just has damage overload at this point. Very easy kill going over to J-Team. They're putting the finishing touches up onto this game. No answers from Bajaya whatsoever. All 3 lanes getting pushed in. It's J-Team all the time, all the way.
Yeah, and as 20 minutes does strike, you do see the pings from Bajaya Dragons over to the Baron. They are worried that J-Team could be doing this, but J-Team doesn't necessarily have to force a Baron here. They can play in the vision, deny it from Bajaya, and try to find a pick, and then blow the game open and take Baron afterwards. So it's the onus is on Bajaya Dragons here to be respectful of J-Team's potential Baron start, and the pings do come out, and it will be Lil V and Rest heading over with Hana, and now Bajaya Dragons are forced to make the face check. They have to check if this Baron is going on.
Mission 1v3, please? That's what I want to see out of this combination. I feel like he does have the damage to just assassinate the backline at this point, but Enzo has his eyes on the Baron. He's going to Stormbringer over, and he's stealing the Baron buff. J-Team actually peeled off. None of them went for it. Now they have to find the cleanup in the team fights. We see Woody going in. They do slow down Aaron, and Lil V's in for the kill. 2 down already. J-Team might have set up a trap, but the respawn timers are a little bit too early right now. That was that was so funny from J-Team. Oh, that was kind of tragic. If they were gonna go for that play, why would they take the Baron that low? That's just so ridiculous from J-Team.
You have to hold the Baron at around 3 to 4k health at the minimum if you want to be making that play. Enzo just goes, oh, sorry, hang on. Enzo just goes, I'm going to coin flip this Baron. My team is so far behind. We're down 7k gold, and that's after the Baron buff was taken. So they were down even further. He just goes, I'll ultimate over the wall, and I'll try and steal this one away. And he's able to do so over Hana, and that's just tragic for J-Team. Yes, they do get 2 kills on the back end of that, but that's Bajaya Dragons with a method to stall the game out to potentially where they can, I guess, this is the first step for them to crawl their way back into this game. And once again, Bajaya Dragons find a Baron steal.
This is what I love about J-Team. They are still very much in the lead. There's no doubt about that. But in their games, they always find that sliver of potential to lose the game from a massive lead. This is, it's frustrating for J-Team fans, but this is the J-Team special. Honestly, that play was, it blew my mind how ridiculous that was. If you're going to go all 5-man up the ramp, why would you leave Hana to take down the Baron where it is in smite range. That makes no sense to me. Why was Hana still on that Baron? It's such a head scratcher, but that's how the play evolved, and you know, it's so weird. But Bajaya Dragons, I think at the very least, they doubled their chances for getting a comeback in this one.
Yeah, it goes from 3% to 6% after that play. Like, you have Enzo stealing that one away, but the Dragons, as we see, Hana has taken away the second drag of the game, and it will be an Infernal Soul if we do get to that point in the match. That's where J-Team have a bit of a backup plan, and they'll be forcing Bajaya Dragons after this Baron, the Baron wears off when the next Drake spawns, and when the next Baron spawns, it'll be Bajaya Dragons in the same spot again. 6k gold down, and you're being forced to answer J-Team with such a large gold lead. You have the 2-item, almost 3-item Kai'Sa, you have the almost 3-item Akali, you have so many people that will be diving the Tristana, diving the Orianna, and you're forced to play reactive, whereas this team comp really needs to play proactive. And that's where Bajaya Dragons will be. They'll be in a little bit of a nothing land and trying to rely on Enzo with some stealing nonsense once again. And Bajaya need to make a pick happen. They need to make something happen, catch Arrest in a side lane, catch Mission in a side lane. I know it's not very easy to do and not very likely, but you have to force something.
So I just realized that I have a stack of papers on my desk, and after further reading, it's actually the script for Game 1. J-Team are going to fail to close the game out within 10 minutes. And what's going to happen is Bajaya Dragons are going to steal away Elder Dragon, and then have this massive 5-0 teamfight win where they absolutely destroy everyone, and that's how Game 1 is going to go down. Now, they might have sent me an early version, like a draft of the script, so I'm not sure if it's going to go through or not, but that is what I have on my desk so far. Do you feel the rush? Do you kind of... Are you on board with the miracle? We have Aaron giving me a thumbs up. I just saw that, Aaron. He knows what's up.
It'll definitely be J-Team bringing down Bajaya Dragons' hopes and dreams if it does go to that stage of the game. I feel like Elder Dragon is something that J-Team should not even think about letting on the Rift, because that allows Bajaya Dragons to get
coming in. He says, no way that script is actually real. They have the killer instincts go in. Shockwave a little bit late, and they find their first kill between 2 towers. Really well done by J-Team, knowing that they can push their lead at this point. In the meantime, we do see a Flash being forced out a little V as K2 tries to get something going on the other hand. At this point, Mission doesn't really fear the Croc, taking him down to a quarter of HP without losing anything himself, and still being able to split push on the top side while the rest of the team cleans up on the bottom.
Whenever you see a side lane Akali that forces a Renekton to respect him and recall, you know you're in a bad spot on the Summoner's Rift. You know that it's not what's meant to happen, but Mission has the Zhonyas, he has the Night Harvester, and he hasn't reset for actually quite a bit of time. So he does have a lot of gold that is just sitting in his inventory. So he's been trying to make sure he gets a massive back for himself. It'll most likely be the Death Cap or the Morellonomicon with the Oblivion Orb sitting in inventory. So he has dinged 16 as well. So his perfect execution will be... like one combo will one-shot every single member of Bajaya Dragons. No one will be able to live through that. Maybe Arzi if he builds a little bit more magic resist, or maybe Enzo, but that's 4 levels down, so Mission will be completely decimating the whole squad of Bajaya Dragons if he is able to be 1v1 in the side lane.
I don't even think he needs his R2 at this point to kill someone. Like, I think the 2 carries at this point, they probably just die to EQ R1. And that is saying something about the state of affairs. So we do have to see if Mission can find that critical pick. It should be very easy for him to execute. He also has a Zhonya's to allow him to go deep into the team fight and still come out the other end with that potential perfect execution, the second swing of it to go. So a lot of different ways that J-Team can play around this. They are setting up for the Baron. It's already up, and they are putting their vision very deep this time. Definitely not trying to allow Bajaya Dragons another steal. In the meantime, Rest just chasing Ozzy down. He wants to make sure that he has to burn his teleport a little bit preemptively to go into the Baron pit. And we are seeing J-Team actually just full on going for the pick potential. They're not even starting Baron at this point, just full on zoning. So that's kind of weird. Like, if you're doing this in full vision, Giant Dragons actually don't have to respond to Yoke. They're finally going on to Baron, but still keeping Woody over the wall just to make sure that they can deny Enso most likely coming in. We see Mission on the flank, and they are heading towards Minji on
TP's
the back
coming
line.
out.
Rest coming in with the backside. They get a 4-man slam, and we are ready to jam. That's 4 members down in an instant for Berjaya Dragons. Double kill on Hana, double kill on Rest, and they are going to clean this one up. Ozzy has to throw his commendments over to such a great team fight as J-Team with the perfect execution clean up for Berjaya Dragons. Not a single member lost. That was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, Rest just completely landing, just doing a great job landing the 4-man ultimate into the wall, unleashing his inner Michael Jordan on the Rift with the multi-man jam, as you mentioned. And J-Team, they will be going to the Baron, respecting the fact that Berjaya Dragons are such low levels that their death timers are so quick. So that's one thing that Berjaya Dragons do have for themselves, going for themselves. But it will be J-Team with it'll be a 13,000 gold lead after the Baron is taken. And if they can't close this game out, I don't know what game they will be able to close out. And we do see Woody is in spot in preparation to potentially find the headbutt pulverized. And we will see Rest just beautiful stuff. Knocks forward, 4-man ultimate into the 4-man pulverized. Like, that is beautiful layering of crowd control if I've ever seen it. But it will be Berjaya Dragons staking the Infernal Soul. A little bit of a consolation prize.
They have to run away. Can they get on the escape car soon enough? Mission is cutting off the retreat path. And in goes Hana. Lil V still waiting on the killer instinct. Mission goes in first. And he just dies! Mission!
He just goes. He's dead. What? That's a dead Akali. What are you doing?
What? He had Zanias. He had perfect execution. He just gets completely wombo comboed, and that means Berjaya Dragons are able to retreat with this one. J-Team, they have a very short-range team, so it's not actually easy for them to be knocking on these towers. They have only been able to take down inhibitor towers after massive team fight wins, so J-Team actually aren't going to be able to use most of their Baron buff.
That is a 45-second gray screen for the Akali. I have no idea why Mission thought that he was able to do that. Yes, you are trying to round the troops up, but you're not able to go 1v5. You're Akali. Maybe 1v3 with an outplay with Shroud, but if there's 5 members with point-and-click crowd control, there's nothing you can do. And Woody's found the headbutt pulverize.
Lil V going in onto the backline, but actually gets forced to flash away. They can't find a decisive win just now. Rest does not have Meganar, and he's gonna go down once again. What are you doing, JT? That was such a bad team fight for JT. They lose their flash on their ADC, and Rest just dies for nothing. He doesn't even have Meganar. Why is he approaching that?
As soon as Mission's death timer ends, Rest gets caught. What are you doing? Like, you see the headbutt pulverize from Woody, but then you realize you have to disengage now. Why are you trying to fight this? Yes, it is 4v4, but Rest is caught over the other side of the wall, and the shockwave pulls them back. And you're just not fighting with your Akali. You're not fighting with your advantage. You have so much gold sitting on your Mission in the mid lane, and you're trying to force these fights without him. Why are you taking these risks? You've played the game so slowly to this point. You could have played around objectives, try to close this one out even quicker, but it seems as though J-Team are just frustrated with themselves, having this game drag out so long that they're trying to force these fights that just don't benefit them whatsoever. And once again, Berjaya Dragons are slowly trying to crawl back in, but it's still a 10,000 gold lead for J-Team. It is still a 7-0 Kai'Sa, and it's just prolonging the inevitable end and potentially getting to an Elder Dragon steal with the script at 58 minutes.
I can't believe this is actually happening. Oh man, J-Team really trying to make this game interesting for the viewers. You gotta appreciate J-Team's dedication to some exciting matches here, as they actually just they essentially made like 3 back-to-back mistakes to allow Berjaya Dragons to hold on, and they didn't get anything out of that Baron buff. They actually did not get a single tower in that Baron. I'm just, oh, my head kind of hurts about that. But, you know, even more surprising for me was that Mission actually died without anyone on Berjaya using their flash. It wasn't like they flash used the quickness to catch out Mission. They actually just Grand Entrance and he was dead. I was like, what? This is I don't know what to say, man. This is so interesting that this is happening. I still think J-Team have a massive chance to just close this one out, but this is really entertaining, and I think it says a lot about, you know, kind of the gap between PSG and the rest of the league. Like, I don't see PSG making these sort of mistakes coming into the league, and I hope J-Team can actually progress and maybe warm their fingers after game 1 so we get cleaner games.
This is a game that's really telling, like you were mentioning, between PSG and the rest of the league. You have J-Team, who are obviously at a tremendous advantage in this game. There is no reason why they have not closed the game out thus far. If you're playing slow, you're playing for dragons, you're playing for objectives to squeeze the map out, you would have already done so by now. And there's these sloppy mistakes, first from Mission, then from Rest, that really cost you. And if you have this lead against PSG, and you make a mistake like that, potentially, Maple or Unified will just get a quadra kill and bring the game back. Like, these are the mistakes that you can't make against Beyond Gaming, against PSG, against the top teams in the league. And J-Team will be able to get away with it most likely and close this one out in the next 5 or 6 minutes. But they really need to clean it up. They have
frustrating to me is that J-Team, with their lead, they could just walk top and take an inhibitor. If Hana gets an ult onto Minji, the team fight's automatically over. I don't care. Like, it's like, honestly, my Clash Clan, like, high platinum team could probably win the team fight. With this amount of gold lead, like, it's kind of crazy to me that J-Team aren't willing to just hammer this one home. Like, if I'm watching the LPL with 10,000 gold lead, with a superior teamfight comp in the late game, with a triple dive, 701 Kaisa, 526 Akali, you are betting your ass that they're just standing on top of your inhibitor and killing you. Like, I don't even understand why J-Team are playing this so slow. Like, the game actually gets more dangerous when you play it this slow. And Enso is in perfect position for another potential steal. This time, J-Team, though, are going to do a full peel off. They're not going to keep on taking the Baron down to 1k HP while looking for the collapse at the same time. And I think they're doing the smart thing this time. At least they're playing this objective a lot better than their last attempt. Now they're finally going to start it when they see 2 members on Berjaya having to be split off into the bottom side. Minji has a teleport, but he's going to be way too late for this one, and Woody is making sure to keep Enso back. Very well done. They take away the Baron, nice and easy, and now comes the collapse as Mission takes a huge chunk out of Aaron. We see Rest going in, but being buster shotted away from the team fight. J-Team, they take a clean Baron, but Berjaya survive another day.
13,000 gold is now the gap between J-Team and Berjaya. Finally, we have J-Team cleanly playing the map. You have the Nara in a side lane, dragging the Renekton. You have the Akali splitting in the top lane, dragging multiple members of Berjaya to deal with you, and you're forcing Berjaya to make macro decisions and forcing them to actually respect you on the map, and it allows J-Team to just bully off Enzo, and are finally starting to close the game out.
Yep, we see a 2-man take onto the bot lane tower. Berjaya Dragons are deprived of many engage options as we see Enzo taking a full Q and dropping to about half HP. Finally, J-Team are going to close this one out. It wasn't very decisive, it wasn't very smooth, but they do get the job nearly done in the end. Rest using the Mega Gnar ultimate a little bit preemptively. It seems like Berjaya Dragons are willing to go in onto this one. They're venturing forward, and we get the snipe off. Mission with the damage. R1 kills Aaron out of nowhere. Berjaya are in full retreat. Ozzy also goes down. The Nexus Tower is soon to follow. And J-Team, despite all their mishaps, are going to close this one down in 37 minutes.
Finally, J-Team understand that they have such an exponential gold lead and they close it out. It was not a clean game, but they did generate a gold lead of that stature, so that is something that J-Team can be proud of, and they now know what they need to clean up for the next 2 games to make sure that they give Bajaya no route back into this series, because if you let Bajaya take a game, that's when they can get really dangerous. But congratulations for J-Team for picking up game 1 of the series.
Oh, I don't know if I should go on celebrating J-Team or if I should go on a tirade on how they played that game, but it was...
Yeah.
It was so weird. J-Team has such a massive advantage. They let Baron be stolen, they let Meshin be picked off, and they also just let Rest get killed. So it was a game that dragged on, I would say, about 10 minutes longer than it needed to be. That was a very, very slow game by the early game standards, and it was just so weird because J-Team, they honestly could have just walked top and finished the game. I don't even see what Giant Dragons could have done in that situation, but you know, they played it really, really slow. And the reason I don't like it when you play that slow is you actually give the opponent team time to build damage items to the point where they actually can one-shot combo you. Like Minji got to that point where he was on 3 items. He could actually kill Kaisa. And we also saw Tristana getting to 3 items and also finishing the armor pen too. So if you drag the game that far on out, it actually becomes more dangerous for you to play because the enemy teams has that opportunity to focus fire down your members and then go in with the comeback play. So I have to say J-Team, for me, definitely playing too slow for their own good.
The longer the game goes, the longer it's dragged out, as you're mentioning, you create these windows of opportunity for the enemy team to catch you, find a pick, make something happen. And that's what happened to J-Team. You saw Mission getting picked out first on the Akali, and then you saw Rest on the Nah, and then you just see this sloppiness from J-Team that they definitely need to clean up. At least Bajaya were fighting throughout the whole game, so they have some confidence for them, and they found picks. Yes, the gold lead was so large, so drastic, like it was insurmountable almost. Like a miracle needed to happen, a 5v5 needed to go towards them with an ace, even to comprehend them coming back. But at least Bajaya know some weaknesses, have found some cracks in J-Team, and potentially have a window into this series back off of J-Team's self-frustration.
I've got over the bad parts about J-Team. It was the last 10 minutes of the game that didn't need to happen whatsoever. But I do want to point out their early game was extremely clean. And like you were mentioning throughout that game, Woody, I think, was a massive difference maker to all the skirmishes that were happening topside.
Yeah, Woody was everywhere on the map. Like, the first 9 kills of the game, 1, 1, and 8, Alistar. He's finding these engages, he's pairing with Hana to make sure that these fights, these engages, are going in the favor of J-Team. He understands that Lulvi will be able to just go 1v2 in the bot lane for a minute at a time, knowing that he's the better AD carry, he's able to be safe, able to entrust that he will not die, which allows Woody to make the plays, link up with the jungle in the mid lane, and try to fight back against Bajaya Dragons, who had a 2-0 Volibear, who had a lead on the Renekton, but it was wrangled back by J-Team, so it was really good from the support. And his use of layering the headbutt into a wall, then pulverizing, is something so simple, but it's something so effective, and Woody, time and time again, was making sure that the combo was executed in that way when it could.
Yeah, I definitely think the MVP should go to Woody if we see it. Taking a look at the gold graph, is pretty smooth sailing for J-Team, but we did have that massive lull after the 27-minute mark that kind of meant that the game dragged out unnecessarily. Looking at the damage charts, Mission doing 10,000 extra damage compared to his opponent there. Was a huge difference maker in that sort of side lane split push scenario.
It's crazy to think that a champion like an Akali, who's an assassin, who all of their damage comes out like front loaded. It all comes out at once, and it comes out typically on one target, is out damaging the rest of the team by 10k. And as you mentioned, it will be Woody getting the MVP for himself on the Alistar. 1-1-17, 90% kill participation. He just played incredibly well. Definitely, I would say Woody is the reason why J-Team were able to get such a large gold lead in the early to mid game, and it was definitely him who was making the plays, finding the engages, and congratulations to him.
Insane game playing by J-Team, really leveraging their bot side advantage to the utmost that they could possibly do. Basically playing 4v3 this entire time against the rest of Berjaya Dragon's top side. Really well done by J-Team's coaching staff and by Woody in particular for making that execution happen. That's going to be game 1 down into the books. Don't tune away as we will come back into game 2 between J-Team and Berjaya Dragons.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
We are
We are back to Game 2 between J-Team and Berjaya Dragons, a battle between the Taiwanese representatives and the Malaysian squad incoming for a potential upset. Game 1, the script was a hoax. That was just a draft. It wasn't what was going to happen. But I feel like for Game 2, Berjaya Dragons might actually have a much better run. Now they're going up again on the red side, and they have seen some of those late game weaknesses coming out from J-Team.
Yeah, definitely for Berjaya Dragons, it really comes down to getting a safe bot lane for Eren and K2. Obviously, you saw Zaya Tom Kench banned out straight away, and it's definitely not the top side that is the weakness. You've seen RZ play quite well. Minji able to kill Minji able to get the kill over Mission early game on the Orianna, so that is definitely not where the weakness lies. It is those skirmishes around the bot side of the map that really cost Berjaya Dragons the early game and allowed J-Team to take over in the mid game and balloon the game to an unsurmountable 13k gold lead at the end, I believe. So Berjaya Dragons really need to focus on protecting their bot lane and allow the if there will be a gold difference negative for them, allow it to be something they can actually come back from.
So I want to ask you about this because J-Team's definitely going to keep the same bans in Zaya and Tom Kench. What do you want to see out of Berjaya's bottom lane that isn't those two picks, but could still maybe put pressure and stay safe at the same time?
I think something something with lots of support, like something like a Braum even. Like you could go something like Braum Varus, even Braum pair that with something like I was gonna say Lucian, but that obviously isn't something that we'll expect to see. Even Braum Tristana, something that allows Eren to be safe and not just fall victim to tower dives, because that's really where J-Team were able to crack the egg of the bot lane. So something like a Braum, like a Tarek even, something that really allows Eren to not fall.
Yeah, so basically you want to see something that is not exactly full-on engage from the support position, but something that can protect Eren a little bit more. We do have to mention that we have seen a lot of, I'm not sorry, Eren, K2. We actually have seen a lot of different champions coming out from the support position. Coming in from K2 specifically, you know, he has played things like Set, Thresh is one of them. However, as we have mentioned, we haven't seen a win from Berjaya Dragons on anything else but the Zaya in regular season. So they will have to crack this egg open during the postseason, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it. I'm super curious on what they're going to draft. They have to be going for something new. But also this time, I do want to mention, now that we see Mission is willing to go for something like the Akali, does Minji try to take that away early?
Obviously, that is one way for you to reduce a ban that you could be wanting to give that over. I don't think Akali is something that you necessarily need to ban out. Yes, it did pop off, but that was really snowballed from a skirmish gone wrong. And I think you should be able to deal with it or pick that one away like you said. I'd like to see Minji on the Akali. He's looked really good on the Yone and other picks of the same nature this split, so I think that's something that they could do. Not necessarily banning out the Akali, but look to take it away like you mentioned.
Yeah, Minji's Orianna is one of his most picked, but definitely not the style of champion that he personally likes to go for. I think assassins are much more of his sort of forte. So I do want to see him on something a little bit more early action. It seems like, to me, Berjaya Dragons are probably not going to be looking for a full-on 5v5 sort of composition. Not exactly where their strong suit lies. J-Team this time around, not taking away the Tom Kench. Very interesting to see if they're going to leave that one open throughout the entire drafting phase, taking away the Silas instead. Very strong flex pick, and there goes the Tom Kench. No surprises there. Berjaya Dragons also repeating the exact same bans from Game 1, which leads me to believe that Hecarim is probably up on the cards again for Hana.
Yeah, I mean, you see Hecarim being left open. First pick blue side almost always is the Hecarim we've seen now. Hecarim is the premier jungle that teams are trying to get above the Olaf, above the Udyr or the Lilia. So it makes a lot of sense for J-Team to lock that one in for Hana. Another type of support I failed to mention before is something like a Lulu. Something so protect your AD carry and allow them to hyper carry, it's not even funny. Like, such a great pick, and it will be the Tristana locked in. And Tristana Lulu could potentially work. They could go towards something a lot more traditional, like a Leona, or wait to pick their support till later. And it will be the Volibear being hovered for Enzo, most likely going to be taking that one away now.
Alright, so we do see the exact same draft coming out. Now it's J-Team's turn to make some changes if they so choose to. If I'm J-Team, I'm pretty happy to go with the exact same draft and just make Berjaya do all the legwork and countering me out. Well, on Berjaya Dragon's side, I feel like maybe they could go for the Gnar a little bit early there. I wasn't impressed with the Rakan. I don't think the support picks matters that much in this draft whatsoever. It's actually very difficult for Rakan to actually find an engage on Alistar. So, well, we are still going to get the Rakan. We never saw the Quickness Shockwave combo a single time in the previous game. So I'm a little bit baffled by this still being the main option that Berjaya are going for. But I hope to see some changes, at least in their solo lanes.
I'm pretty sure so far, including bans and picks, besides order, it is all the exact same. That is the first point of wavering away from it. It will be the Akali banned out from Mission. Understanding that's a champion you looked super proficient on, especially when you got that first kill. So looking to not even allow him to playmake, but that leaves something open like a LeBlanc potentially. Or even a Yone if J-Team are feeling that spicy. Another champion that is similar, and it will be Jace banned out once again for J-Team.
So I do want to mention, with Akali taken out, the two big champions are Lucian and Azir still open for J-Team. They could also go with the Orianna with this composition. Hecarim Orianna is a pretty common one as well. Berjaya Dragons are going to deny that by going again with this Ori for Minji. In the meantime, J-Team, they're looking at the draft. They're licking their lips. They're feeling happy about this one. They're saying, you know, wait, we actually have a lot of good counters. LeBlanc, like you mentioned, still on the table. Fizz still there. Okay, you guys are just messing with me right now.
He's just cycling Whoa! Woo! Oh. I love that kick. I love Cassidy. Everfrost getting changed. Cassidy finally got a mythic for himself with the Everfrost buff. So Cassidy definitely is a champion that can be exciting. After level 6, obviously, he will be bullied out until that point from the Orianna. But it will be rest on this Gnar. Once again, so exact same team comp for J-Team, subtracting the Akali for a Cassidy.
No, don't like
Don't
this.
do it!
Please, no! Well, I think we've already know how this game plays out. It's Berjaya Dragons again with a very it's a composition that has very narrow win conditions. I feel like you have to go in, you have to find a snipe early in the team fight, or J-Team just kind of overruns you. They have the scaling advantage, they have the sort of composition advantage with extra frontlining, with extra pick potential, extra dive, everything. It's just, I don't know. I don't like this comp from Berjaya Dragons. I feel like it's actually super hard to execute. You need to be 2 levels above your opponents to play this one out.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Berjaya Dragons pilot it before, and if they do it the same way again, realistically, you get a lead on the Volibear, and you get a lead on the Renekton, but then you're suffering from the mid lane and the bot lane, and this time, you have to lock down the Cassidy. You have to try and kill him pre-6, because once he gets level 6, once he gets able to just jump around the map, gives him that level of safety. Cassidy can just take over, especially when he gets there with a Kai'Sa on his team as well. So Berjaya Dragons now have to shift their focus to trying to crack open mission on Cassidy with this Volibear Orianna, which is something that they can do, but they really need to focus because Cassidy can just take over the game.
For J-Team, it's Take Your Daughter to Work Day, as we see the Void combination of Cassidy holding hands with his daughter, Kai'Sa. I wonder how that relationship goes. If my dad dragged me into the Void, I actually would not be very happy about that, but we'll see. She does get a nice suit out of it. In the meantime, Berjaya Dragons coming in with the exact same draft. Not a single champion is different for them. We'll see if they can make miracles happen or if they repeat something that has failed, that's kind of the definition of being foolish.
Isn't that insanity? Isn't that one of the definitions of insanity? Trying to do something.
I didn't want to go that harsh on them. I feel
but
like
no, but that's
foolish
the definition, isn't it? Like
it is
in the dictionary. Like Oxford, don't hate me, hate Oxford or Macquarie Dictionary. I'm just saying how the word is meant to be.
It is. You are being very truthful. I'm trying to soften the blow, and you're like, no, they're insane. But you are absolutely correct. We're going to take a look at the runes. Even the runes are basically the same ones. We do have an Ingenious Hunter coming out, so Ultimate Hunter, excuse me. So a bit more CDR on that Rift Walk, but everything else is pretty much the exact same.
Yeah, I mean, you look towards the mission. He has gone for the fleet footwork, recognizing that he needs to survive until level 6, and that rune will really allow him to do so. And like we were mentioning, Vijaya Dragons, they've run this comp back. It ended in a 13k gold deficit and a defeat. So we've seen them execute it and play around the top side. I think it's crucial that Enzo really tries to play around the mid and the bot side, trying to, I guess, make the most out of Kaiser Alistar's weak pre-3, try and crack that open, and that's something that Enzo is doing this time around. He is clearing from the red buff down. Last game he did start bot side and was able to successfully get a gank onto the Gnar and get a lead from there, but that didn't help the course of the game. So intelligent from Enzo to realize he needs to play towards the side of the map, and that is where he is pathing.
I do want to mention that Virginia do have early knowledge of where this clear is. In fact, both sides do. They both snuck early wards in onto the blue buff. So really don't expect this first round rotation of ganks to work out. It's going to be very difficult with full knowledge on the map. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, I do want to talk about the difference between Akali and Kassadin. Kassadin actually has a far superior laning phase against the Orianna. See Missionaire, even with a CS lead, and Enzo finding himself into the bot lane. He does have that PTA skirmish advantage over Hana, and his smite is just about to come up. So this is going to be a very hard-fought contest. Woody coming over the wall. Who is going to get the smite down? Both are level 3. The red buff is about to be taken down, and we do see Enzo with the Stormbringer and the Sky Splitter, not the Stormbringer, the Sky Splitter able to sneak that one away. So a good win from Virginia Dragons early on without even using their mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Mission did have the early CS lead, but it is Minchi shoving him into the turret. Which really forces Mission to go, hey, do I want to last hit, or do I want to potentially coin flip come and help the rest of my team on a red buff defense? Mission being wise and deciding to stay in the mid lane, but as a result, Enzo gets a bit of a lead, and he is going all the way to the top side to double scuttle the Hecarim. Hana recognizing this, trying to find a play on the bot side, but a ward will spot him out, and he will be deterred from doing so.
This is actually so smart from Enzo. He forces back Hana, and in the top lane, we're seeing Rest actually getting a near kill onto Ozzy. He's down to less than 200 HP, walks back for the empowered Call of the Meek to get some of his HP back, and that will be that, as they also know that Enzo is around the area. But a great pickup from Volibear, getting 2 camps ahead of Hana.
Yeah, and after he resets as well, he is able to grab the CDR boots, and all of his jungle camps are up on the map. That would be so good job playing around the timings, knowing he can reset, and then he will have all his camps to clear from top to bottom and help the spot side. Hang on.
Oof. Nearly goes down there, actually misses on the grand entrance, so just a free target there. And Mission once again probably has to flash early, as we see Enzo already coming in with the flash and the stun. This is a repeat of game 1. Down Mission goes. Virginia Dragons once again finding a strong advantage, and this is really funny about the question mark. So what happened there was Hana actually pinged Enzo and said that he was on Krug, so they thought that he was going to do a full clear. Enzo instead runs straight for mid lane, is actually going to take away the Krug camp from Hana, making sure that he keeps the camp lead, plus he has the entire top side to go back towards.
That's heartbreak from the side of J Team. Really tracking the jungler going awry, I guess. But Volibear sniffing out potentially this could be happening. K2 has been brought up as well. But he will settle for his Raptors. And I guess it's so rough for J Team. But it's really good from Bajaya recognizing that we need to put this Kassadin behind. And they do just that. Good pathing from Enzo, recognizing he has a window to take down the Kassadin pre-6, but now that the Kassadin does have the Rift Walk, it will be a little bit more difficult.
But there's 3 members here against Mission. They're even waiting on his potential retreat path. Mission has to go deep inside the enemy jungle. Ooh, we see the command attack missing. It's going to buy Mission so much extra time here. He might not be able to run away, but he's looking for the execute on this one. He could actually just jump and phase rush through the enemy base. Okay, the auto attack comes in. There's definitely not going to be an execute chance here, but if he dies to the support, that's still pretty fine. And we do see a solo kill, so no assist money. Bajaya Dragons now, Aaron being knocked back and has to burn the flash. Not sure what happened there. It seems like there was a solo play between Tristana versus Lil V. Woody finally comes in, gets the flash out. So overall, Bajaya Dragons find themselves with a bit of an early lead. 0-2 for the Kassadin coming in early.
Yeah, exactly what Bajaya want to do. Put behind the Kassadin, a historically weak early game champion, until he gets the Rift Walk, until he's able to escape. Yes, he has a silence. Yes, he's able to do a little bit of damage, but until he gets that Seraph's Embrace, until he gets that Everfrost, he really is vulnerable. So great job from Bajaya Dragons, and they're using that mid lane priority and bot lane priority to start stacking the dragons. Remember, this is 10 minutes earlier than last game's first dragon. So great stuff from Bajaya Dragons, getting these neutral objectives early.
Yeah, they are actually keeping abreast in the mid lane. 3v1 versus Minji coming in. Minji actually stays alive through the ignite, through the gank. K2 in the nick of time saves his mid laner and stops Mission from finding anything. Really well done. In the meantime, Rest misses his Mega Gnar, misses the W. Oh, this is a bit shameful right here, but he's doing a good job at baiting. Hana comes in, used the onslaught of shadows, and that was a great show by Rest. That was top-notch, Oscar-worthy acting.
And the Oscar nominee for Best Dramatic Performance does go to Rest. But we do see Minji surviving on a slither of health. The headbutt pulverize does come in. The Rift Walk does land. The Ignite is used. She is knocked back, but you see the Guardian and the Battle Dance just allowing Minji to survive and hang on by a thread. And the Orianna does live through that. And as a result, in the top side, however, we do see Rest, as we were describing, playing a little bit of a call an ambulance, but not for me, and he does allow the Hecarim to come top and save him as well, so that will be a kill going over. So both junglers do have a kill, and actually, even though the red buff was stolen away from the Volibear, Hecarim's superior clearing and pathing has allowed him to catch up in XP and CS, and he does have 53.
Yeah, we do see a bot lane quickness being used here by K2. Aaron jumping in, but getting headbutted straight into the river. They're trying to go onto this Alistar, who is under leveled. They get him, and Lil V actually just pauses for a very long time. Kind of interesting that he's doing that. He does have help. Hana coming in with the devastating charge. Killer Instinct back in, and they are all such great actors on the side of J Team, getting a double kill in for Hana. I felt like Lil V was gonna die for sure, but that was just immaculate calculations. This ambulance pony coming around and taking Bajaya Dragon members to the morgue as a Mission goes in and chases for himself down onto Orianna, because he's going to have to back off after they see Ozzy coming in route, and now Ozzy is the one that has to sneak away. The Shockwave is going to land too, but they don't have enough damage. Who are they even going to try and kill at this point? With a great Mega Gnar, Rest is going to disengage the squad. Now Woody is kind of left alone to pasture. I think he should still be fine though. He's 3 levels down on Ozzy, but he does have that headbutt to get him out of the way.
Yeah, skirmish after skirmish after skirmish, and not a lot really transpiring from it, besides the double kill going over to the Hecarim in the bot side of the map. Really well done from Hana to trail behind and counter gank at the appropriate time, but it will be a skirmish once again over this Rift Herald.
They are going to go up onto Ozzy. Ozzy does not have the dominance, so they're trying to focus him down. But the rest of the team from Berjaya Dragons, this 3v3, they're not going to go easily or quietly. They're holding on, and K2 does have the quickness, so they could have this potential very strong engage. Finally, Woody ticks over to level 6. It's been a really long time since he's sitting at level 5. And Berjaya Dragons are going to start this one up again, knowing that Woody most likely has to back. It seems like they are going to be able to sneak this one away, but Hana says no. They're actually going back in. Rest pops into Mininar form. Not exactly the greatest time for them to be contesting this. It is a straight-up 4v3, and Berjaya Dragons are willing to just continue to go on. It's going to come down to the smite fight right here. Quickness goes in, Shockwave on, Stormbringer misses, and Hana gets the 3-man Shockwave! Knock-in, the Onslaught of Shadows going in. They are going to take the Herald, but at what cost at this point? Enzo is slowed down. It's going to be 2 down for Kassadin, and this is disaster for Berjaya. Their combo really not working out the way they wanted to.
J-Team just buying so much time on that Rift Herald. You see Woody walking all the way from base to accompany the rest of his squad, and just as he does, he just lands the perfect headbutt, Pulverize,
and the fight goes on. Mission's looking for his 3rd kill. Hana's gonna take it just with the red buff ticking down, but just looking at this again, that was a weird combo.
Yeah, it was just so long. Shockwave is used, but you do see the Onslaught of Shadows into the 3-man headbutt, Pulverize combo, and from there, Berjaya Dragons realize they have not won this fight and they need to retreat. But Mission, using the Rift Walk to cut off the escape of the Berjaya Dragons and grab a kill for himself. And Hana is now 4-0 on this Hecarim. This will be a nigh unkillable horse who is quite fast as well. He has gone for Ghost this time around, not going the Ignite. So he is favoring, I guess, a little bit of an ease of engage and favoring movement speed over kill pressure because he realizes that with a Kassadin, with a Kai'Sa, he has quite a little bit of damage.
That Herald play, even though Berjaya Dragons got the objective at the end, cost them close to 4,000 gold. I just don't think it was worth it. That was a little bit of a repeat of what we saw in Game 1 as well. Berjaya Dragons going for the full-on engage and not syncing up properly. They just don't get the kill. They get counter-engaged on the back end, and now Berjaya have to make use of this Herald. They're doing a classical fork play right here, going for the mid lane at the same time. They're sneaking away the Drake. So at least they should get this objective. There is no jungle contesting right here. Should be a just smite secure from Enzo. And, I still don't think it was worth their troubles going into that, being so hesitant on that Baron play. They had the lead. They should have just tried to rush it down before Woody could come back.
Yeah, they waited and waited and waited, but little did they know it was J-Team who were trying to stall for time, and that did allow Woody to come from base, as you mentioned. But they do use the Rift Herald about as effectively as they could have, coming off the back of that play being a teamfight loss. They do drop the Herald in the mid lane, get some plates for the Orianna, and a little bit of a skirmish happening once again.
Red buff secured coming in. Ozzy has to pop the dominance, but we see Hana going into the backline. He does so much damage at this point. The rampage is going on. Stormbringer finally gets the shutdown onto him, but the rest of the team is going to fall slowly. Rest is still very, very healthy. Gets his Meganar, punts Ozzy into a wall, and that's going to be a 3rd kill for Mission going in. Once again, Berjaya Dragons, they try to overreach in this topside skirmish, and they pay dearly for it.
Yeah, Mission doing a great job of just dragging the attention of the Renekton, doing his best to distract Renekton from the rest of the fight going on. And he's just so desperate from Rest to try and take down this counter. And like you do see the flash come out, and a beautiful knockback from Hana. Ozzy is here. You see the shockwave does not quite land as they wanted to, and then the fight is turned. We see the Stormbringer being used, but it's a little bit too little too late. And you see Ozzy just being focused. His focus shifts to Mission, like I mentioned, and it allows Rest and Woody to take down the take down the Volibear and then turn their attention to him and take down him as well. And now this Kassadin has gotten through the stage where Kassadin is vulnerable. He is now level 11. He has the Everfrost. He has Sorcery Shoes. He is going to start hurting immensely from this point forward. it's going to be so rough from Bajaya Dragons to deal with him in particular.
Yeah, we see Mission already with a bounty at this point. It seems like Berjaya's only real pathway to victory at this point is to just continue their Drake stacking and hopefully win through the bottom side. It's going to be a tough ordeal for them. Hana is coming in. It looks like Woody is going to go in with the failed flash. Well, that was a pretty quick end to that one.
I mean, Woody trying to make a play like MVP from last game. He's allowed to have a couple of mistakes. He's allowed to not play perfectly. Like,
I agree.
It's okay, and he's still 1-1-5. He still has 60% of the kill participation in this game coming from the support, so he is still doing a great job on the map. Micro misplays can be overlooked if they happen occasionally, and if your name is Woody, they certainly do.
Enzo finds himself in the midst of the entire enemy team, is just gonna die, even burns a weird flash. K2 trying to go in, they get the shockwave quickness combo, but they don't have the deeps. Ozzy finally comes in, he's trying to take down Mission and get that bounty, but he's not gonna be able to get it. Finally, we see Minji flashing forward to pick that one up. So J-Team actually get golded a little bit too deep into the enemy jungle, collapse on all sides, and Bajaya Dragons, they show signs of life.
Great counterpunch from Bajaya Dragons. You see Enzo, he looks just completely caught here as 3 members are collapsing down onto him, but you see Minji, he is here and he's baiting Hana away, and you do see a really nice duck 2-man shockwave, forces the Hecarim ulti defensively to get out, and once he's gone, Mission is super vulnerable. He has no mana. That Rift Walker is such a high mana cost when it gets to that point when it's used so often, and he's unable to be go with his life, and the cow that's tried so desperately to save his life falls as well.
And I do want to mention this build coming in from Mission is much more of a snowball build than a scaling build. He actually just picked up his tier at 17 minutes. So dying there actually does hurt him quite a lot. He has 0 stacks on the Dark Steel so far, which definitely is not something that he's looking for at this point. And it's a really good reprieve coming in from Bajaya. I love the fact that Ozzy was rotating down for that fight preemptively. And even though Enzo burns a flash, it ended up being quite useful flash because it drew J-Team into the deep edges of their own jungle. Now we see J-Team taking over this Herald completely uncontested. They have full vision control at this point. I don't think Bajaya is going to be able to sneak their heads inside this one.
Bajaya Dragons picking up their first neutral objectives of the game. Bajaya Dragons, as we can remember, did grab the Rift Herald, but they did pay with blood for Shelly. And so J-Team finally grabbing a neutral for themselves. The Dragon is spawning in the next 3 seconds, so they should look to do play around that one as well, as Shelly is used immediately as the distraction play to potentially turn straight onto the Infernal.
Yeah, that was kind of a haphazard one. Ozzy being the target of focus right here. He tries to walk through the river and finds 4 people in the brush. Not great. Not exactly great pathing coming out from the top laner. Meanwhile, Mission is able to harass Minji as he tries to find himself back into the mid lane. It should be an open Drake for J-Team. That was a really haphazard Herald, but at the end of the day, it worked out because Ozzy's pathing was super questionable there.
I mean, using results-based analysis, we will say that J-Team used Shelly perfectly and allowed themselves to get a pick and grab the Infernal Dragon, so using one neutral objective to chain into another. That is not really how Shelly was used effectively. We do see Ozzy just gets caught. He's collapsed upon by 4 members. He does try his best to run away, but he's just unable to do so. Onslaught of Shadows fears him back into the rest of the squad, so he is taken down. But beautiful from Lil V.
Lil V is not going to be hit up by the Grand Entrance right there. Supercharges away from that one. And I kind of feel for Bajaya in that play. It was actually a bit of Jedi mind trick, because they send Enzo out first, and they're like, there is no Renekton in the brush. There is no Renekton in the brush. And then the Scryer Bloom sweeps over the brush, and you see Ozzy like, I have made an incorrect life choice. This is gonna cost me.
I've made a severe lack in judgment.
Yeah.
So we see Hana will blast Cone over the wall. He will not make that lack of judgment himself, and we do see the gold lead starting to once again break away for J-Team. They grabbed their first 2 neutral objectives of the game within the last 5 minutes, and that really has started to separate themselves from Bajaya Dragons, who most of that gold lead was from plays around the neutrals, and it's super rough. I guess one thing they do have going for themselves is they do have a 2-in-1 Tristana named Erin, so they do have the 80 carries on equal playing fields. Yes, Akaisa does have the evolved Q, so she spikes harder off 1.5 items than the Tristana. But if Erin is able to continue to farm up and get that 2 to 3 items at the same time as Lil V, there is a window for Bajaya Dragons to potentially force a fight. And I think they really need to focus on picking Mission.
Oh, they're gonna find Hana right now for a bit of damage. Hana still holding on to the ultimate. He should be able to get away from this one. Never mind. Blows the ultimate way too late. What? Hana? You're unstoppable. Just use your damn ultimate. What? Okay. But he just dies there, and Bajaya Dragons are going for the Baron. That was a pretty weird turn of events.
I mean, I was talking about picking Mission, but picking the jungler is even better, especially when the dragon has
with unstoppable onslaught. He just held on to his ult for way too long. That was absolutely weird. But Bajaya Dragons, they might not be able to walk away with this Baron. This is not an easy Baron take, as Mission is looking for his angle to engage. Minji has to use the ultimate on himself, and he is down. This could be absolute disaster. Double kill already. Who's gonna find the Baron play? Enzo is bunted out. He's not gonna find it. Oh, he still steals it to the wall. That was a blast code steal. The entire team for Bajaya Dragons is essentially taken away. Only K2 trying to run as fast as possible with the Baron buff. But that was a costly objective take.
Trading Baron for 4 members of your team is just so costly, as you mentioned. You see Mission on this flank. He is aware. Bajaya Dragons know he is here, but they have been pincered into this Baron, and they commit to it, but much to their detriment. The Shockwave completely misses Mission. Once that ultimate is used, it is time to feast for J-Team. They get the double kill first onto the Kaiser. Headbutt over the wall. Woody trying his best to outplay Enzo, but Enzo going, I'll do it again! Smite over the wall.
JT. Oh, that actually would have been GG if J-Team found the smite. I can't believe... Hana wasn't there, so...
Nope. Enzo knew he could make the play. Knew he could do it once again for Bajaya Dragons. Make that Baron steal. It's their signature play. Like, honestly, it's like Enzo's... It's his thing. If he doesn't steal the Baron once per game or once per series, has he really played? Is it really Enzo?
Yeah, that's probably written in his contract. And now we do have Woody on some sneaky business, but if he gets found here, he's actually just dead. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if Mission's gonna come in on this. He does have the teleport, so they're setting up wards for him to potentially find the flank. They're going in, but Rest is the first target that's actually just getting chased down. He might just drop here before the rest of the J-Team even arrives. He goes down, and now Bajaya Dragons have the numbers lead. This was a flank gone wrong, but Ozzy once again coming in on a side where you really shouldn't be walking through. He runs straight into Alistar's path and is taken out. So this Drake fight is going to come down to, oh my god, Enzo dropping down below half HP. Mission trying to come in. He does use the Everfrost, misses. Minji goes in with the Shockwave, finds one target, but that's not an equal trade. J-Team still on the chase, looking for more. Aaron's gonna die. Double kill for Mission, and he's going in even deeper underneath the tower. Lil V drops, and at the end of the day, that is a 3-for-4 in advantage for J-Team, and they now have full control over the Infernal Drake.
What looked so good for Bajaya Dragons, recognizing that they have 2 members of the opposing team behind them to engage straight onto the Gnar and get the pick there. But afterwards, Ozzy just gets caught in the exact same way, and it's now a 4v4. And with the gold lead J-Team has, Bajaya Dragons try to retreat, try to turn it, but they just aren't able to do so. You see Rest, the quickness is used, the grand entrance is wide, he's charmed back into the rest of the team, and he's able to be taken away. But you see Ozzy here fighting with Hana. Yes, he does hop over the wall, but into the waiting Lil V and Mission. And now it is it's Bajaya Dragons trying to find a pick, trying to make something happen, but they do not have the gold lead. And on the replay, we do see the Infernal Dragon going over to J-Team.
Yeah,
it looked like potentially a steal.
Enzo definitely started that one, but it was Hana that finished off the Infernal Drake. And Wow, Lil V actually going super deep onto that one. Didn't really need to do that, but it goes in for the kill regardless. Actually, a pretty big bounty going over on the other side, so it's actually a pretty costly mistake for Lil V. But it doesn't matter at this point. At the end of the day, J-Team still 5,000 gold ahead. They come up with the double objectives, and the story still stays the same from game 1. J-Team, they are able to outscrap Berjaya throughout most of the mid game, and they have this better scaling composition. The father and the daughter gold chart so far, both at 11,000 gold, and this snowball is going to continue for J-Team.
You've heard of like father, like son, like father, like daughter. You see Mission leading the way for Lil V. 7-3 and 6 Kassadin. Keep in mind this was a 0-2-0 Kassadin at pre-6, so this just exudes the power of the pick, even if he's pushed so far behind the Orianna in the early game. Mission's done a great job. He now has the Seraph's, the Archangel Staff rather. He does not quite have it stacked all the way yet. He does have his Everfrost, he does have his Zhonya, so he's able to stall, even though he may fall really deep. So you need to find a pick onto this Kassadin before anything can happen. And Berjaya Dragons are trying to collapse on Hana, but they don't know Mission is here.
Yeah, we are going to see Woody start the engage right here. Lil V following up after K2. They get the flash, and now Hana is going in. Terrify onto the opposite direction. That was a great use of the ultimate. Perfectly aimed. Now Enzo has to flash out too. And we see a 3-man knock-in coming out for rest. Great play there. Shockwave gets a lot of damage down, but not enough to finish anyone off. And J-Team walk away with another magnificent team fight off the back of Rest's Gnar.
Rest showing why he has been subbed in, why you play him over Driver with the beautiful Gnar ultimate, 3 men being knocked into the wall, and allows Mission to just continue to pop off on this Kassadin. We see as the team fight starts, Berjaya Dragons are just caught running away once again on the back foot, and it's from Woody forcing the multiple members to run so far away, leave Enzo, leave K2 stranded, and then it's just from one target to another. Beautiful flash ultimate landing on 3 members there. Incredible stuff from Rest. That was super clean, man. There was nothing else to say. That was just a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little bit disappointed that Aaron doesn't flash that, because if he flashes that, they could have actually changed the outcome of that fight. They had a 4-man Shockwave plus a 4-man Sky Splitter. I feel like if Aaron flashes, there's actually a decent chance that they counter wipe J-Team, but he doesn't manage it. Great play by Rest, really on point with the Mega Gnar ultimate, and J-Team are laughing all the way to the bank there. That's another great series of events from their end, and I do want to point out Rest's items at this point. He actually goes for the Death Dance, plus he's looking to finish the game off with the Elixir. What do you make of these items?
Seeing the Death's Dance, he's understanding that armor is really crucial, and he wants to give himself some lifesteal, realizing that there's no grievous wounds from the side of Berjaya Dragons yet. So I really do like the Death's Dance, a little bit of a different pivot, itemized wise, but a little bit of a skirmish here. Woody could find him out.
Yeah, we are going to see Minji having to blow the flash early on. Hani gets the Terrify onto 2 members. Killer Instinct into the backline. Shockwave doesn't even come out. Ozzy comes into the fight super late, doesn't find anyone, and this is just a pure cleanup. Hana doesn't even go down. He's fully healed up. A perfect ace for J-Team, and they are going to right their wrongs from game 1 and give us a much faster place cleanup.
We asked J-Team to turn it around and be clean and decisive when they get a gold lead, and our prayers have been answered as they push on to the Nexus, the first Nexus turret falling, followed shortly by the second one. Death timers are much too long to even make anything happen. Enzo might not even spawn unless J-Team BM enough for him too, and he will come up, but it will be J-Team taking down the Nexus, and they will be grabbing game 2 for themselves. BM City.
2-0 in the series. J-Team looking to close this one down in rapid fashion. So really well done by them, going up against the same exact draft from Berjaya Dragons and achieving the same exact results. Once again, I feel like Hana and Woody were massive in this fight, just being able to influence the duels onto the top side. And this time around, we had a much quieter game coming in from Ozzy. This is not a match where he found any early kills, he didn't get the early dive going, and even though Aaron was further ahead this time around, I don't think it made a difference for Bajaya.
Bajaya Dragons really struggled to, I guess, hold on and, I guess, try to have some sort of resistance. Like, yes, they took neutral objectives. It was Enzo being super proactive, and he was able to get some plays, shut down the Kassadin V6, but it really didn't translate to much of anything, and it was faltering in the mid-game once again for Bajaya. Even though they had the neutral objectives, it was just one fight around that Baron that they forced that they really didn't need to, and it was that Rift Herald as well, where they force these fights, but they don't engage immediately. They kind of are like hesitant, they're going, will we, won't we? Whereas you compare that to J-Team, who, when they see the fight, they go, cool, we're going in. Woody is already engaged by the time that the rest of the J-Team can think. So they know that they have to follow up their support. Whereas you go to Bajaya Dragons, no one is making that decision, no one is pulling the trigger. And that is the difference between why J-Team are able to win these mid-game skirmishes rather than Bajaya, who just rely on a Baron steal or some shenanigans from their opponents.
Yeah, I feel like Bajaya, they have to review their approach to objectives. Yes, they did get the objective at the end, but it cost them 3 kills for the Herald, and it cost them 4 kills for the Baron. Not exactly what you want to do when the enemy team has a Kassadin and is looking to snowball and scale. So I think they need to think about what happens after the objective secure a little bit more and right their wrongs coming into this one. And most of all, I do want to see them actually change up the draft. I don't think this is a great draft against J-Team. There's not enough oomph in the late game to carry them through a lot of what J-Team are doing, especially with their scaling champions that they always select for mission here.
They need to... I think the Orianna is something he's super comfortable on, and he looked... and they're trying to, I guess, for Minji, make sure he feels safe, and they're trying to take that away from mission, so that's why they're picking the Orianna. I can see why, but it just is not finding any success. And once again, early on, pre-6, the Orianna wins lane, she gets the kill. But as soon as the mid-game comes through, it feels as though time after time, it is Minji who's finding just that skirmish, finding that team fight that just snowballs him over the top of mission, and over Minji rather, and that really just puts him behind.
I wonder if Minji plays Lucian. If you do have the Lucian pick, I don't think there's any chance that Mission's willing to just grab a blind Kassadin like that one. So we'll see if Minji can fight fire with fire in later sections of the game. But once again, the gold graph looks very similar to what we had in game 1, albeit a lot faster this time around. MVP is going to go to the man Mission himself. 13 kills on the Kassadin. And I loved his build. I think delaying the tier was definitely the right call there, just to get some extra oomph in the early game and recognizing that he could be more impactful with a faster Everfrost.
Yeah, 100%. Getting the Everfrost, getting the Sorcerer boots completed earlier than you would expect for a Kassadin really allowed him to be explosive that a couple minutes earlier, and that really... I think that actually was what tipped the scales in J-Team's favor. So really intelligent from Mission. Congratulations on getting MVP for yourself in Game 2. And I'm excited to see if he's able to pop off once again, or if Bajaya Dragons are able to shut him down rather than just one First Blood.
J-Team now on to match point. If they win the next game, they will move on, and Bajaya Dragons will end their playoffs run. So don't tune away as we find out the potential conclusion to this series in Game 3.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.
不知道从哪天起，我获得了一股超能力。其实，这不是超能力，我只是办了。
中国信托英雄联盟卡多款卡面任你选，最高享10%现金回馈，也想拥有这件英雄被动技，现在就去办，再送神秘英雄礼。We are family.
Tristana denies him passage with the pillar. Once again, it's a triple kill for Lil B.
Will J-Team cleanly finish off this series 3-0, or does the comeback start here for Bajaya Dragons? We're going into the potential conclusion and Game 3 between J-Team and Bajaya Dragons coming in this here, and Bajaya once again going with the red side. This has been 3 games in a row that they've gone on the same side, and potentially 3 games in a row that we're going to see the exact same band pick.
If Bajaya Dragons draft the exact same picks, exact same team comp for Game 3, I don't think there is any way that they will come victorious in this series. I think they have to change it up, and it's going to be something they need to start from top. And like that game, I think the bot lane was actually fine. I think you need to get away from Renekton. You need to get away from picking the Renekton with your blue side counter pick into the Narf, because there's no reason for J-Team to switch up anything that they're already doing. They're going to first pick the Hecarim again, they're going to pick themselves Kai'Sa Alistar if you don't take that away, and then they're going to go into the second phase. And you know that they will do this, and you need to have come up with a strategy with the coaching staff in the break to be able to try and crack open that team comp.
I will be very disappointed if they once again go for Renekton into a Gnar on red side when you have so many counter picks open. Really, Bajaya Dragons, their draft, are doing them no favors. They're cranking over like the game difficulty to absolutely hard mode and trying to win only in the early game. It just messes with the team mentality so much. You have to go super aggro all the time, and it actually ends up backfiring. So I agree with you. I think Bajaya, they need to really look at their top lane matchups, really need to tweak things around here. And for J-Team, do you expect any changes?
Honestly, no. Unless certain champions are banned out, I don't think that they have any reason to change anything. They might want to change stuff to start in there for their own like opinion. For trying to practice for Machi X or Hong Kong Attitude, whoever they verse in the next round. They could look to try and have a different face, a different team comp, execute something differently to prepare for that series. So I see that being the only reason why they would change anything.
And on we go again towards Game 3. Same exact bans coming out from both sides. Tahm Kench, Xayah banned the entire way, while on the other side, Samira plus Thresh always taken away as well. J-Team, they're saying, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Gonna go for Hecarim straight off the bat. While Bajaya, this is your do or die moment. Do you go for the early Gnar? Do you pivot off your jungle? Or are you just gonna lock Tristana, Volibear like you always do? Please don't do the same thing. I actually think Trist and Volley are fine, but the rest of the picks could use some tweaking. Oh, this is nice.
I mean, just because Tahm Kench is off the table doesn't mean you don't have to pick center. I've just been baited as I was going to go into Cho'Gath, going to go into lots of different champions. You can pair with the fasting center. They are not going to be doing that. They are going to be picking the Tristana once again. They will be pairing that with potentially a Volibear. I feel like the Volibear is fine. I think it's better than the Udi or the Olaf for them. So I think I have no problems with this so far. Come back to me after J-Team does their next 2 picks, and then I might have a problem then.
And it's going to be Kai'Sa Alistar. I'm
Wait,
not
do you
a
have this
prophet,
play-
I can't see the future, but I know what's happened in the past.
I have the... Wait. I'm the one who had the script for Game 3. How did you get a hold of that? What? What? How did you know? Oh, God.
It's
Gosh,
magic!
I
can see into the future. No, it's happened all this same
had the
exact
orb.
ads and picks. Oh. Please, Bajaya, please change things up. For the love of God, no more Rakan. It's a terrible pick against Alistar. There we go. Yes! We have a potential flex. We have Gragas.
They have the pressure of the Gragas going top lane, as well as support. Does quite well into Alistar. You are able to use a body slam as a answer to the Alistar headbutt. You also have explosive cask to try and knock him away after he gets in. So you have a champion that does a little bit better into the Alistar. Grand Entrance can be interrupted as well on Alistar's side. So You've drafted a better matchup in the bot lane. Let's see how you go towards the mid lane. In the top lane, will it once again be Orianna plus Renekton, or will you try to find something else? And we will be seeing Zoe banned away by J Team and Wukong and Victor banned away by Vijaya.
So this time around, Jace is actually left open. Nar's on the table too. Vijaya Dragons have their pick of the litter. I do hope that it's going to be the Gnar locked in. This is Ozzy's best champion by far, and Vijaya Dragon, they finally have a functioning front line. This is lovely, Vijaya Dragons. I'm so glad you have come to the light and given up on your hopeless ways. Now J-Team, they're going to answer with a potential Yone pick. I don't think Yone is actually a great blind pick, though. This is really, really risky.
I feel like this is a pick. It's a troll pick. They will take the Orianna for themselves. Ooh, Fiora's fun. Gangplank is good into the night. But the Jace is something that they did not ban away themselves. So they could take that one for themselves. Having a bit of a troll hover there. I doubt they'll pick the Renekton saying, hey, look at us. We can pick the Renekton into the Gnar being counted as well. But no, I'll teach you how to play the other side of the matchup, Ozzy. I know I can win it, but it looks like it will be the Nocturne mid. Pick that has seen great success in other regions like the LPL, and I'm excited to see how Rest pilots this one.
This is gonna be fun. Finally some changes here. Vijaya Dragons with a much more aggressive mid jungle, and J-Team going for the Nocturne, most likely top lane. We have seen Zoom play this matchup quite a bunch. Okay, there we go. There we go. There's the bans. And this is a super strong pick composition. You can use Paranoia to stop enemy teleports and then use double teleports yourself. So it's actually a really, really powerful bot lane, blow up bot lane sort of comp here coming out.
Yeah, it's so powerful for the Nocturne top, because on paper you may think, wouldn't it make more sense for Nocturne to go into the mid lane, then he's able to go to both sides of the map. But in the top lane, with teleport available, he can Paranoia like you said, and then he is able to leap onto the back line as soon as his teleport is channeled, so he does have that ability. And I do like, obviously, you pair that, a double TP with a shockwave, or with a ball to be delivered as well, so I think that's something really good for J-Team. But we go towards Vijaya Dragons. They have a fresh team. They have something that looks different and something that looks like it has life. You have the Gnar, like you mentioned, a good champion, some good frontline engage. You pair that with a LeBlanc who will be able to dive the backline, looking to try and blow up the Orianna or the Kai'Sa before these engages can really start. So I think Vijaya Dragons have finally drafted themselves something that is here to fight against J-Team rather than look to counter their engage, which is something Vijaya Dragons really did not find any success with.
At the bare minimum, Minji is going to have a much better series. I don't think his Orianna was allowed to do anything in the previous two games. We are heading on to Game 3, on to the Rift. New compositions at last. And we're going to see if the skirmishing power from Vijaya Dragons is able to take down the pick potential from J-Team coming into this one.
Yeah, we finally move on to Summoner's Rift. No fog on the sky, clear skies, clear blue. Forecast of 23 degrees Celsius for the day on the Rift, so nice conditions for both teams. We will be seeing from the LeBlanc has gone the teleport. Not teleport. She has gone teleport, but I was more meaning the electrocute, looking to blow open the Orianna, trying to get a pick there. Minchi has found great success getting solo kills, or getting ganks from Enzo and able to get kills for himself. So hopefully that can be more form for Minji and able to grab a solo kill for himself, because one kill on LeBlanc looks a lot scarier than one kill on Orianna. So hopefully he can blow the game open from there.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get the early snowball onto the LeBlanc. This is Assassin pick that actually has a lot of good targets against J-Team. You know, they could take down Kai'Sa quite easily with that as well. We're going to see some good level invade from Rest early on, just going up onto the Nart, slicing him open, taking him down to half HP. Ozzy has to run away without even using auto attacks here, and it's a very good trade coming out from his end. On the other side, the start from J-Team is a 3-man leash start on the red buff. They're going to head towards the top lane, and this could go very wrong for Gnar very early.
Yeah, Nocturne's a really strong duelist in the early levels. Something that, unless you really have played against a solo lane Nocturne, you're not expecting. He's able to, when he lands the tether and the fear, he can really be a menace, really not allow you to trade back the way you want to. So he can really be scary in these earlier levels. You compare that against a Gnar. The Gnar at least will be able to farm safely, proc Grasp, and get some boomerang procs, but that's not really where Nocturne looks to shine. He looks to roam, he looks to link up with the jungle in the mid, and J-Team do threaten that quite well.
Good buffer coming in from Aaron, dodging out on the headbutt pulverize combo. And touching about the top lane matchup a little bit, I do play Nocturne, and just about the top lane matchup, the way you play this is actually, it's pretty hilarious. It's like you mentioned, it's all about roaming. You tag the wave with your Dusk Trail, and then you go in with Umbral Blades plus the Iron Spike Whip, and you full clear the wave. It takes like 2 seconds, and then you just leave. But we're going to see a big trade out onto the bot lane. K2 being taken down to only 200 HP. Both AD carries flashing in, but it is Aaron that finds the first blood. But no, the minion block! The minion block kills the Triss. She's not able to get the reset, and just ties underneath the tower. Well done, minions.
I mean, minions being the third man in that play for the side of J-Team. So, the Summoner's Rift's on their side, it seems, as the game starts. And really smart for him will be not to overcommit on the Alistar, realizing that he will be able to take down Eren after he does get minion blocked. And we'll see a beautiful flash headbutt, I believe it was. No, it will be a body slam into the flash headbutt, landing on both members. But Woody does knock back K2, but, I mean, Eren's able to just dive down further, and the rocket jump just doesn't reset. Would he have had it? Like, I didn't see him even buffer it. I'm really confused.
Yeah, he should have had the reset, but I guess he just didn't have anywhere to go. Like, even if he jumped out, he probably would have died anyway. Just surprising to see him not try to go for that, at the very least. I feel like you always at least try to go for it and see what happens. But we're going to get straight back onto the bot lane. They know that this Hecarim is around. Hana is just harassing them and forcing Eren to miss CS at this point. Great Constellation skin coming out from there. But Jaya Dragons are going to respond with Enzo coming on into this lane, and there are no flashes, so this could be an easy pick. Lil V going to get taken down. Woody chases forward into the bait trap, and I think Woody's just dead right here. Oh, the Sky Splitter doesn't actually land. Enzo is going to pick that one up at the very end, but Lil V, oh, he was 2 auto attacks away from killing the bear on the backside. Not going to be able to chase up on this, and Jaya Dragons with a really good response.
Libby could be
getting a little bit hyphy.
Yeah, Eren trying to make something happen after the explosive charge is procced. Libby does have the safety of his turret and minions to protect him, so he should be falling there unless a dire mistake happens from his part. But really well done from Enzo. This game, recognizing that the bot lane is something that he has not prioritized, and that has not worked in the first 2. So if he looks to enable the Tristana, get a kill on her early on, and try to, get a kill on himself rather, but aid the bot lane and try to crack that open. But unfortunately, that has not helped the 22 CS deficit that Tristana has accrued.
Hana stays and gets the big raptor. It was looked rather precarious as he was spotted out there. I'm actually surprised he stayed around for so long, but does get it in the end, and Woody rotates towards the top side to actually help him get that one. So good buddy team up there coming in from the support jungle roam of J-Team. On the other hand, there's bot lane is once again massively ahead. Double the CS onto Lil V right now. K2 knows that Woody is right there, overshoots the gutter barrel right there. But they're going to be fine so far. And now Jaya Dragons trying to find an entry point. They do need this LeBlanc to work out for them. Rest might be overextended right here, but we're going to go into the bot lane as there is a 3v1 potential dive coming out. K2 gets taken back into the enemy team, gets demolished straight up after that. They know Enzo's in the top side. They're going to play very brazenly behind the enemy tower.
It's just so unfortunate for K2. He just paths further and further away from his tower, feeling pressured from the Hecarim, and as a result, he is being taken down. And now this Kai'Sa, who has already gotten herself a 30 goal CS lead over the Tristana, will continue to get kills, and that's a 2 kills already. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we also see just mid lane not working out just yet. Minji hasn't been able to find a successful trade against the Orianna. Lil V now sitting at 1,000 gold ahead of his opposition, and it's 7 minutes into the game. It's actually really crazy how far ahead he is at this point. He's a free serrated Dirk up on this Tristana. So, you know, J-Team, they have so many different avenues to play this game. They have this counter pick in the top side. They have this bottom lane that can leave whenever it wants to. And I'm just waiting for the fireworks as J-Team have this great rotational, semi-global composition coming out for them.
Yeah, as you mentioned, in the top side, the Nocturne really has just been, I guess, negating the Storm of the Gnar. The Gnar's just really trying to bully him out, but as you mentioned, Nocturne is able to just drop his trail down, clear the wave out, and look to try and make a play, link up the Orianna. It is level 6 for Nocturne, so he does have his ultimate, he does have the teleport, so potentially he could be trying to make a play down on the bot side, but it will be Bajaya Dragons grabbing this Ocean Dragon with no contest being shown from J-Team.
Just an easy pickup off of an earlier reset. We are going to see some pings coming out from J-Team. They are trying to contest the Herald play at this point. Both Hana and Rest are heading up there. See if Woody decides to join onto this one. And with Ozzy going back, it will be a clear go signal. Hana actually doesn't sweep out the ward. That's a pretty shoddy job at clearing the pit there. So he is sitting up in full vision. That's actually just 100% a mistake there by Hana, not trying to look for that one. But Bajaya Dragons are going to have knowledge of this Herald starting out, and this could be their comeback ticket into the game. We're going to have K2 arriving on the scene a little bit earlier. And we'll see if J-Team can use their Wombo combo. They have a lot of Terrifies going in. They have the Shockwave. And Bajaya Dragons are almost corralling themselves into disaster right here. It's just about when J-Team will pull the trigger. Paranoia comes down. We see Hana trying to chase in. 3-man headbutt pulverized. And the Shockwave lands onto 2 in the backside. So we are going to see Enzo down already. Ozzy trying to go over and pick up the Herald, but it's actually J-Team that secures it. Now K2's on the wrong side of the jungle. He's not going to be able to survive this one. Nowhere to go, really. And J-Team come out ahead. Like we mentioned, they should be able to in that situation. Just J-Team having a much better flank composition on that one.
Yeah, it's just as K2 will be running away to his death. And, unfortunately, that doesn't go over to Rest. Thumbs up coming through from K2. He realizes his job was done. Stall and make sure only the Alistar does kill him. But as you mentioned, with the Paranoia, it brings so much power to a team fight. You see Rest, he's holding, he's waiting, waits for the flash Pulverize to land onto 2 members before engaging in. And the damage is just so great from the side of J-Team. Mission lands a beautiful Shockwave, which does allow the fight to go over. And on top of that as well, it was Hana who did secure the Rift. So they take the objective, they take 2 kills, and Bajaya Dragons are left with 1.
Yeah, really painful fight for Bajaya Dragons. They're not being able to snowball the LeBlanc is my biggest worry out of that team fight. It's 10 minutes into the game. There's only been 1 assist on her, and she's not really getting that oomph to assassinate people. It's going to be very hard for her to function as a champion after this one. We see J-Team just going for the bot lane. 690 gold being taken right there. Almost all of it being going to Lil V. So she's massively ahead, does have the evolved Q going into this one, barely taking any damage from K2, and she's actually very comfortably 1v2ing up on this side with Woody on the flank assisting at this point. J-Team, they can pick any fight they want at this point, and I feel like they can come through.
It's been more of the same for J-Team, like in Game 3 as well. They have a 3k gold lead already in the game, and that's started once again at a fumbled neutral objective. And this time, Bajaya Dragons don't even walk away with that to show for themselves. They lose the fight 2-1, and the Herald does go over to J-Team. And this time, you don't have even a kill on your mid laner. Minji hasn't been able to get anything going on this pick, like you mentioned. And with this Kai'Sa, who has snowballed to 2-0-0, she has grabbed majority of the turret plates for herself in the bot side with that Herald. she does have a 30 CS farm lead over the Tristana as well. So it's going to be difficult for Minji to really one-shot the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa will punch back. It's that traditional LeBlanc diving onto the Jinx and the Jinx trying to run for her life, dropping chompies and hoping her support peels for her. It's more going to be the Kai'Sa, Lil V, really trying to answer back, using Killer Instinct to potentially try and outplay the LeBlanc.
Yeah, I really feel at this point, Lil V probably wins the 1v1 duel against LeBlanc. LeBlanc flies in, takes a full Q, 2 auto attacks, and she's basically dead. So, I don't have great things in store for the LeBlanc coming into the future. Mission has also been able to suppress this LeBlanc in lane quite handily, even up in CS department. It's never forced in lane. And now J-Team are just closing this game out with the gank potential coming in. We see K2 being forced to use the stopwatch there. Is going to fall down. Aaron, wow, that was a great use of the Buster shot mid-Killer Instincts, but Enzo can't really go on to this one. Hana's already on the scene, and it still will be a straight win for Lil V.
Yeah, great job from Aaron, like you mentioned, to interrupt the Killer Instinct and allow Lil V to not grab the double kill for himself. But once again, it's Woody finding an engage, and now it is Hana who has corralled with the help of Nocturne.
And off the lights go. Rest flies in afterwards. Underneath the tower, nothing that Brajai Dragons can do. They have no pressure on the map whatsoever. Lil V is going to continue to snowball, and it just feels like if you give J-Team a lead with this type of a team composition and without any lane disruption whatsoever in the early game, there's no way for you to really come back. It's so difficult for Brajai Dragons to execute now.
Yeah, especially when you look at both team comps side to side, you see an Orianna that will scale alongside, if not past, the LeBlanc. You see a Kai'Sa who will scale alongside, if not past, the Tristana, who is ahead of the Tristana by almost an item at this point. And those are the two, I guess, main damage sources coming through. And if J-Team are already ahead in both of those areas, how are you going to compete? You need to force something, and that's what Bajai Dragons are doing right now.
They can't really do it. This is a 3v2 underneath the enemy tower. They have to walk out, take a bunch of damage coming in from Rest. And Rest is pretty hard to kill at this point. We do see top lane Nocturnes go typically for a lot tankier builds this point around. We see a lot of second item Randuin Omens just to sit on your AD carry. So it's very hard to actually kill Nocturne. He's basically a semi-tank at this point. And in goes Hana for the steal. Who's going to get it? Enzo still finds the target, but he's going to pay with it with his life. Ozzy gets a 2-man knockback, but can he run away from Mission? He's going in, doesn't find the shockwave. J-Team walk away down an objective, but up a kill.
Yeah, J-Team are able to not get the dragon, but they get a kill for themselves. But Rest could be caught in a little bit of trouble, but the cavalry is coming.
Actually goes directly up back onto Gragas. Ozzy trying to find the comeback kill. Onslaught of Shadow goes into the back line, and the hop, great play by Ozzy. Actually hops past the Alistar, finds the kill, and dodges out of the combo with the flash. That was pretty miraculous to see.
Yeah, Ozzy able to grab that kill with the final auto attack, taking down the Alistar, and that's J-Team just overcommitting on a play that they really did not need to make. When Rest is able to peel himself off of the potential dive, you really don't need to go back. Go in further.
Oh, here we go. TP coming in from Minji. Can he find Lil V? Actually tries to get out as soon as possible. One auto attack and he's dead. Yeah, that was kind of what we expected. Shockwave is going to come through. Ozzy misses his ult completely. Lil V laughs at his enemy's futile attempts to take him out. And it doesn't even seem fair at this point, the amount of damage Lil V is able to do. He definitely out-damages the Burst Assassin at this point.
Auto Q auto from Lil V just killed both LeBlanc and basically killed Anar in 16 minutes. And that is before Lil V has gone and grabbed himself a Zeal and another dagger, so he will be auto-attacking much more frequently between Qs, between abilities. So Lil V is just so accelerated on this Kai'Sa. It is 16 minutes, he has 2.5 items. Compare that against the Tristana, who has still been yet to complete her Kraken Slayer. And that really shows what has happened this game. It has been J-Team getting Lil V super far ahead for the first time in this series. Really, like, they have focused on Lil V in the series so far, but this is the first game where Lil V's really gotten all of the kill credit and gotten all of the farm, all the resources pumped into him, and he has looked very good in handling it all.
It's kind of sad when your LeBlanc gets 3-shot by the enemy AD carry. It's well, I guess the assassin tables have turned at this point. This is a lot of people say AD carries season 10, season 11 don't do a lot. It feels really bad. But I would argue that for some AD carries, particularly like Kaisa, things are still fine. You can still find some wins here and there. And Minji actually has to be escorted in these side lanes. This is so painful to see LeBlanc falter to these depths. And J-Team right now sitting on an 8,000 gold advantage. They have a completely open tower in the top lane for the taking. Nothing that Brajai can do. I don't know. I just don't see how they come back in this one at all.
Especially with the LeBlanc being forced to build the Everfrost rather than going something like the bursty Luden's Echo, because that's not going to be enough to kill Lil V, to kill Mission. So it just feels so bad as an explosive cask does land, but all it does is really deter the auto attack for a couple seconds, and Lil V does take that top tower as well. And after this reset, it's going to be a rapid fire cannon or Phantom Dancer for Lil V. So how do you kill him after he has that range or after he has that lifeline passive?
Yeah, I do like the rapid that he's building right here. It does give him that extra 150 range, so it makes it much easier to tag down on someone like LeBlanc as she's coming in onto you. And he's 6-0-0 right now. We take a look, Brajai Dragons once more, their only lifeline seems to be the fact that they do have those 2 Drakes stacking, and it is an Infernal Drake. So it would be very beneficial for them to get the soul. But at this point, they're losing way too much crowd control. Like, it's so easy to execute this J-Team composition. You turn off the lights, you throw the Nocturne in, you put a ball onto him for good measure, and he just kills someone outright. Then you have Hana's engage, you have Killer Instinct. There's so much extra chase potential from J-Team. I love this composition that they have drafted for themselves, and I really like J-Team's read of the matchup so far. This type of a comp from J-Team, the only answer for it is actually something that is super defensive and front to back. If they run into something like an Ornn, Thresh, and a Jinx, this composition actually doesn't do much. But Brajai Dragons don't have that in their repertoire.
Yeah, no, 100%. As we see Enzo trying to engage onto Woody, a little bit of a skirmish could go out here.
Unbreakable Will being forced to use right there, but he's going to walk out fine.
But moreover, what you were mentioning. Oh, no. Hana's trying to find an engage, and he finds one.
Never mind. The 3-man does go in. They're trying to go up on Woody, though, and Woody's a very tanky Alistar. That's not really going to work out. Enzo goes down. Ozzy's on the wrong side of the map. He gets taken out. Double kill coming in, and Minji has to run away, but Decimating Charge is still on him. Where are you going, Rest? He's trying to take out the bottom lane by himself, but he survives, and that's just such a great bait coming out from Rest. He makes the enemy team walk towards him. Never underestimate Rest. This guy is the king of acting.
He is the #1 drama award winner for the top lane of the PCS, and you can see why. You see Woody, he looks caught out, but this is one tanky Alistar. He uses the Unbreakable Will, so he's able to be nice and beefy. And you see Hana, he recognizes, I can't find a massive engage, I'll just try to keep the Gragas preoccupied, and then he finds the ultimate, and that allows Rest to jump onto the backline, force Tristana to run away so far, force K2 to just have to peel for his AD carry, and that allows the rest of the squad to win the fight on the other side of the map. And then it was just so sad to watch Eren come so close, yet so far to killing Rest, and Rest takes a bow. End scene.
That was beautiful. I love the script that you're reading from.
Yeah, I told you I had it when I came into the game.
Yeah, I definitely believe you in that one. You know, you should pass the script on to me earlier next time. As we see, finally, J-Team do grab the first Infernal Dragon for themselves. It's sad to see, like, Mission with 006 on this Orianna, but he's doing exactly what he needs to. And he understands that it's Lil V who will be one-shotting every member of Brajai Dragons, or rather,
3 auto attacks, 1 Q, 1 Wing them. Most members of Bajai Dragons don't even need that much, but it is now siege time with the Baron, with the Infernal, and I don't see where Bajai Dragons will be able to stop this push in the next 5 to 6 minutes.
Certainly should be a quick game for J-Team, but they do find out Lil V. Minji is super low, though. Lil V is blown back, and they get the kill. That was so well done by K2. Bowling against J-Team, and we should never count Bajai Dragons out. Not against this J-Team composition. Paranoia goes through. Can they find their target? They're going into the back line, but they only get Enzo on that one. So both of the carries on Bajaya are able to retreat. J-Team only lose their ADC, though, so they're going in for more, trying to find that decimating charge onto the bag. Rest gets tagged up, nearly dies. Ozzy goes back in, and this is a full retreat for J-Team. They have mission with the phase rush, though, so they will be able to walk out all right. And in the meantime, actually, Paranoia, Nocturne takes down all the structures in the mid lane, so not even that bad of a loss coming in, but this was picture perfect. Well done.
Yeah, beautiful explosive cast does land and does take down the Kai'Sa, and then it's just a retreat game for Bajaya Dragons, not much more. J-Team. Most of your gold is sitting on this one champion, and once they are taken down, you now do not have that enormous advantageous team fight. You can't just run head on into Bajaya Dragons. You have to play this one out intelligently. They recognize and they try to get away after they try to find potentially another window to get in on, but they aren't able to do so. And seeing a 14,000 gold lead at 23 minutes really starts to make the fat lady heard. Obviously, it's not singing yet, but she's not too far away from entering.
I do want to point out about how fed Lil V was. After losing 600 gold bounty and giving it over to K2, he still has another 600 gold bounty.
Yep.
It's so insane. He was 5,000 gold ahead of the Tristana. So it's almost like that play didn't happen. J-Team gonna walk straight into the base, take down the bot lane inhibitor tower, and now they're starting to work on to this inhibitor. Bajaya Dragons, K2 has popped the Turbo Chem tank, but he doesn't find the angle to go in. That's gonna dissipate. And Hana plus Rest are waiting on the flanks just to go in on the enemy team. They are going to retreat for now, but the damage is done. This is a perfect setup for Barry.
Yeah, speaking of J-Team's mid-game lapses in the first game, they have definitely cleaned it up throughout the rest of the game. The only real complaint we can have is Lil V getting caught by an incredible explosive cast from K2. So J-Team, they intelligently use the Baron buff to siege, grab 2 inhibitors for themselves. They will be resetting 1 minute and 20 seconds on the next Dragon, 1 minute and 40 on the next Baron. So they should be able to just reset, spend their gold, go set up around the Dragon pit, grab that one for themselves, transfer that into a Baron taken, and should be able to close this one out in the next at least 5 minutes.
It's 4 items versus 1.5 on the AD carries. That is disgusting. I don't think I've ever seen a game at 25 minutes where the item difference is this much. I also want to point out Rest could be going for a Sanguine Blade here. He's been split pushing this entire time. I mean, I guess why not?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because if you're only going to be surrounded by one other champion, you'll get the max benefit from the item. Especially when you have the Stride Breaker, you have the armor, you have the health from Sterak's Gauge. Like, maybe you can go a very aggressive 1v1 item, as Hana looks to solo down Eren.
He does get the Buster Shot from him, but not much else. Still a pretty strong win. And honestly, J-Team can close this out whichever way they want. They should be willing to tower dive on this top lane. If I have my flank set up and I see someone on the other side of the map, I'm instantly going. I don't care what Bajaya Dragons can do. Let them try to find the win. They get the 3-man knockup, headbutt, pulverize going in. But a very late engage by Rest. That looked extremely awkward. Minji's going to fly in, get taken down to half. Ozzy finds a 2-man, but not the stun, and he dies. So I guess Rest just his acting wins out on the day once more. He gets a double kill for his troubles. It looked super scattered, not honestly decisive from either side, but they find the win at the end of the day. And Rust is going to go back for his final purchase to complete his items. That's very important. And he's going to build Azanias! Never mind! I thought it was going to be Sanguine Blade, but he can build whatever he wants to as J-Team close it out with a Rest double stopwatch. And at least he dies. At least he dies. I love that J-Team stopped actually taking the tower just to make sure Rest dies in the fountain. Well done, J-Team.
Yeah, punishing their top laner for a little bit of a BM back, allowing him to fall to his death, but it will be J-Team triumphantly 3-0 over Vijaya Dragons. Has looked very clean. They cleaned up their act after the first game. Obviously, it was a very dominant win, but not in the fashion they would like to have won. But for game 2 and 3, they closed it out nice and clean, nice and crisp. Only a couple of hiccups along the way, and that will be the victory for them. Congratulations.
And I have to say, for this series, it feels like the hidden MVP has been the bottom side. They've always won out on the laning phase. They've never felt pressure, and it's allowed Woody to roam across the map so efficiently. This is what J-Team is known for. All 3 of their lanes are excellent in terms of the PCS standard. So if you let one of those lanes just overflow the map, then they can take over so quickly, so easily.
Like, if Lil V is able to just grab a lead for himself and allow Woody to just roam alongside Hana, alongside Mission, and really break open the rest of the map for them, that's a great way that J-Team like to play the game, and it allows them to take over the map and be dominant on these neutral objectives, where, like you saw in the Rift Herald plays on the first 2 games, it was Lil V who was not there, Eren also was not there, it was a 4v4, but it was always Woody making the difference. It was always Woody finding the engage, making the plays happen. It wasn't K2 able to follow up or try and make anything happen. It was always the Alistar making the fights happen and winning them for the squad.
Yeah, it was such a dominant series, and I feel a little bit let down that we didn't see any early game actually work out for Vijaya. All 3 of these games, it was J-Team. Once they got the objectives, they just were the better team at executing the objective fights. I feel like Vijaya Dragons didn't really understand the enemy composition and couldn't really react properly. A lot of times they were forcing down these objective fights while J-Team had the superior vision control, had the superior concave, or the superior numbers. So it just feels like, to me, Vijaya, if they want to contest, they have to have a game plan in mind on what exactly they want to do. A lot of times it's actually okay to come in second on the objective if you can find a decisive pick. So it was just kind of weird, and it really showcases the gap between sort of the macro knowledge and the team fight finesse from these 2 teams.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this was definitely a series that highlighted player differences, and I think it really... Lil V versus Eren was probably the largest gap that got highlighted. You saw game after game, regardless of how much Hana was playing around the bot side, it was always Lil V coming out with a lead. And it was really tough to see like an AD carry going 20 CS over their enemy before the jungler intervenes. That makes it incredibly difficult for the rest of your team to operate, and the damage charts back up Lil V's excellent performance on the Kai'Sa, almost 19,000 damage. Very much thanks to a 17,000 gold lead they were able to grab at one point in the game.
I've never seen an AD carry hand out 600 gold in change in terms of their bounties, and then still have 600 gold to spare. Like, that's how ridiculous he was. He was 5,000 gold ahead. It was 4 items versus 1.5 items on the enemy Tristana. And it's an unsurmountable lead coming out from that bottom side. I thought Vijaya would be able to get 1 game in this series, but I was proven woefully wrong. J-Team did a great job. I really have to give props to Cold Ice in this series. I think his preparations were spot on, and it will be Lil V with the MVP, 12-1-2.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked Lil V's praise throughout the whole game, and we will continue to with him grabbing MVP, 12-1-2 on the Kai'Sa, 77% kill participation. plus 7,600 gold difference. That might be the highest gold difference I've casted. That was incredible. Great job from Lil V to get a lead and continue to just blow it out of proportion.
That's disgusting. You could buy 3 Zeal items with that price. It's just... Oh, that wasn't fair at all. That was so one-sided. Really well done by J-Team there. We are going to get an interview after we come back, so please stick around after the break, and then we will close the show afterwards.
Hello，大家好，我是英文台的主播 Rara 主，然后这次的赛后采访很高兴欢迎 J Team 的小 V。
大家好，我是 J Team 的 AD 小 V。
Hey guys, I'm Rara Drew. I'm here with J Team's AD carry Lil V for our post-match interview. Super happy to be interviewing Lil V this time, especially after that 3-0 performance today. So the first question that we wanted to ask you guys is just tell us a bit about your feelings after the 3-0, and also just did you guys have any sorts of special preparations before today's series? 然后今天就首先恭喜你们就3-0，感觉很轻松的获得这场比赛的胜利。那第一个问题想问的就是，今天看 J Team 的比赛就看起来就好像你们的状况就变得更好，就从上周到现在，虽然可以说就是还是有点小失误，可是就想问小 V， 可以分享一下就最近队伍的练习状况是什么样的呢？还有就今天的话有哪一些部分可以变得更好吗？
上礼拜我们被 PSG 3-0之后，就做了很多调整吧，包括大家的选角跟上的人之类的。那比赛的时候，因为就是今天就打得比较可能轻松一点吧，就可能没有什么压力，然后就赢了。那失误就是因为我们的人想乱玩，所以才会死掉。所以应该也不算失误，应该是算乱玩吧。第一盘打完之后，教练就进来骂我们了。他说季后赛可以不要刷那个不能讲脏话，季后赛可以不要乱玩吗？对，这样。
是谁背锅？
都是我害的，都是我害的。
So he said that last week because they played versus PSG. They lost their best of 5-0-3. After that loss, the team actually went back. They made a bunch of changes. They practiced harder. For today in particular, during their practice, they made some changes in terms of like rosters, who they were playing, as well as the kind of champions and the lineups that they were going to field. So they made that sort of adjustment. As for today in the series, he said that he thinks that they were able to play with less pressure today, so he felt that playing in this series, it was a bit easier for them during the game, throughout the game as well. He said that they did make some mistakes here and there. That was because the team kind of felt a bit too free, too easygoing, and so sometimes they were just not playing as seriously as they should have. He said their coach actually came into their room after game number 1 to scold them and say, like, guys, look, it's playoffs, we have to take this seriously. We can't be too easygoing this time around. So then I also asked, all right, so like, did the coach scold anyone in particular? Whose fault was it? And then Lovi was like, it was my fault. It was my fault for that. So he took responsibility for that. That was nice. Our next question that we wanted to ask is, it's good that you brought up champion roles and just different kind of champion picks, because the thing that we noticed for today was that Mission in particular, usually what we've been seeing was he plays a lot of mages in the mid lane. However, today I think he picked assassins twice, so he was playing Akali as well as Kassadin. So I wanted to ask, is this a change that you guys made specifically because you're playing Berjaya Dragons? Just tell us a bit more about this pick. 就接下来问题想问的就是关于 Mission 今天选的角色，就因为之前你们通常是会让 Mission 玩那些战装法师之类的，然后今天的话他就出了2次刺客角色，就是阿卡丽还有卡萨丁，所以想问呢，就是这是特地为了 Berjaya 准备的吗？还是什么呢？
就是因为对面的选角跟我们预想的差不多吧，然后就想说让东山玩玩看其他角色，压力测试一下，不然打不赢之后的队伍。所以今天就是前3楼我们的选角3把都是一样的嘛，就是4、5 pick 中上选什么都看他们想选什么都可以，就我们上面3个人会好好那个帮他们掩护，让他们好好在比赛练脚啊，所以是没什么关系，就是证明我们也会玩这些角色吧。
So he said that the way the champion picks worked out, it wasn't particularly because they were preparing or facing up against Berjaya Dragons. They said that they actually wanted to get Mission to play these assassin champions because they were saying that he kind of has to start picking up those assassins right now. And if we can play them successfully versus Berjaya Dragons, it's very good practice moving forward so that in the future, Mission can play those assassin lineups versus the other better teams in the PCS. And he was saying the way that pick and ban, the way that the draft worked for today's series, they mostly just gave a lot of, I think they gave a lot of priority to top mid jungle, and that was just their strategy, just in general, not just for today's series. He said that the Berjaya Dragons draft also was drafted in a way that they were pretty much expecting. Great. The next question that I wanted to ask was the competition format between playoffs and the regular season was a bit different. In that regular season, you play 2 rounds of best of 1s, whereas right now in playoffs, it's just straight best of 5s, best of 3s. So I just wanted to ask what the difference in this change of format was, just in terms of preparation, in terms of how the team feels playing these longer series. 接下来问题就是想问一下，你们之前是打2轮BO1，然后现在就季后赛的话就是打 BO3、BO5， 然后就想问这种赛制打 BO5，会对你们的准备还是比赛的状况来说会有什么不同呢？
相对 BO1 来说 ，BO3、BO5 这种可以有输的机会，然后我们还能赢的赛制，对我们来说可能比较好吧。我们都是我们这队伍都是老屁股了，大家刚上来都还在睡觉，没有先1-2场慢热一下，我感觉我们 我玩的没有很好，所以感觉波5、波3对我们好一点。
So he said that he thinks that for him as well as the rest of his team, BO3, BO5, just longer series are better for them compared to best of ones, because best of ones, whether you win or lose, just gets decided very quickly. He said that for them, some of the players on their team tend to sleep in a bit or maybe take a bit longer to wake up in the morning. So at the start of a long series, maybe like a game 1, game 2, they're still kind of waking up, getting it together. So he says that the longer the time that they have to actually prepare, that works in their favor. So he thinks the longer series during playoffs are a good thing. Great. So our last question that I wanted to ask you is that the following day, on Sunday, your next match is going to be versus either HKA or Machi, depending on which team will win tomorrow. And right now, since we're in week 2 of playoffs, it's pretty much elimination at this point. Whichever team loses gets knocked out of PCS Spring. So my question is, which team between the two would you rather play? Who do you want to see win tomorrow? 那最后一个问题想问的就是，毕竟你们后天的比赛就是会对上 HKA 或者 Magi 其中的一支队伍，然后现在就毕竟是季后赛的第2周。就已经是淘汰赛了，可以算是淘汰赛了，就谁输谁会被淘汰。然后就想问的就是 HKA 还有 Magi 当中哪一支队伍就是你们比较希望对得上的呢？
我比较想遇到的是 Magi 吧，因为 HK 有空月啊，他太会抢龙了，感觉遇到他不太好。没有，主要是因为 Magi 的辅助是跟我搭档很久的那个 Koala 嘛，那感觉他上来我们这边再打一次波5，然后我们不管谁赢都可以去挑战上面的人，感觉是他赢比较好。我说他们跟 HK 啦，当然遇到他们或 HK 我们都可以赢的。
So he said that, of course, he thinks that, whichever team, whether it's HKA or whether it's Machi that they face off, he thinks that they do have confidence to win whichever team it is that they play on Sunday. Earlier on, he was just kind of joking. He said that actually, he kind of thinks he would rather play Machi just because Kongyue is just so good at jungle and he's so good at stealing dragon that he just doesn't really want to deal with that. But then he said, more seriously, I think he's been very good friends with Koala. They know each other for a long time. So they kind of had this agreement earlier on that, whichever of the two of them win means that they'll be moving forward into spring playoffs. And because they have a good relationship, he's kind of fine with whichever of them wins and gets to move forward. So very nice sentiment all around. Thank you, Lil V, so much for that interview. And of course, good luck on Sunday. 好的，那就非常感谢小 V 这次接受我们的赛后采访，祝 J Team 季后赛加油。Casters, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Ray Chu, for that wonderful interview. And we just heard a lot of inside information coming out from Lil V. His matchup with Koala is potentially coming, and he could also see his nightmares come true with Kongyue stealing a Baron from J-Team, which I wouldn't put beyond him if Enzo was able to steal 2. Kongyue certainly should get a couple as well. And I guess the question for us is, who do you think actually comes through, Hong Kong Attitude or Machi X?
I think between Machi and Hong Kong Attitude, it really comes down to how Lil V looks at the game too. Kongyue will be the reason why either Hong Kong Attitude come out triumphantly, or it will be Machi X coming out with the win. I think so much of why Hong Kong Attitude have had a late resurgence in the league is off of his shoulders. As soon as he came in, they looked completely different. They only dropped games against the top teams. They were finally beating the teams they should win, and they've gotten some momentum now. And I think there's no reason why Hong Kong Attitude shouldn't be able to take down Machi X, and Machi X really need to focus on putting him behind.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow which team actually decisive, maybe not decisive, but a fairly smooth sailing for them. And for tomorrow's matches, Hong Kong Attitude like Machi X, we were just talking about highlight showdown for me and for you, I believe. Kongyue versus Gemini. Who's going to be the best jungler of the PCS is pretty much going to be decided in this best of 5.
100%. I mean, if anyone's going to shut down Kongyue, it is Gemini or River. So I think definitely Gemini does have what it takes to take him down. Gemini's looks so good for Machi X, enables paired alongside Koala. Their jungle support skirmishing has been really good, so I'm really keen to see how that series will play out tomorrow. And I think it could go either way, honestly.
We are inching closer to finding out who's going to come out on top of the PCS. 5 more matches before we find out our representatives to MSI and Iceland. This has been a wonderful broadcast. I hope you guys can all tune in back again. There's a lot of action happening, and tomorrow's matchups are definitely a banger. We do have to send our condolences to Berjaya Dragon as they are eliminated, unfortunately. It has been a split where they have to battle through a lot of tough opposition, and taking down J-Team in the regular season is no small feat to snuff at. But that will be the end of the journey, and this will be the end of our journey for today. I've been Clement, and this has been my Colorcaster Verbatim. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope to see you tomorrow.